to have this guest on for a while and chat a little bit about life, about baseball, sports, and of course, out of the park developments. Welcome all in. Give it up a big virtual round of applause to OOTP's very own Perfect Team. I think his official title is the Perfect Team Product Manager. Nicolino is in the house. How you doing, Nicolino?
I'm doing great, Lap. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, you are coming through loud and clear. That is
Great.
pretty good. How are things on the right coast?
Things are going pretty well. It was a busy morning, making sure that everything is up and running for this next week for the season. This season, it's funny, a season's a week, right? In Perfect Team. So making sure all the promotion relegations are set, making sure everything's ready to go, everything looks okay, communicating with the devs to make sure the payouts went for those competing in tournaments and the standings and all that. So, we had the refresh, so we had to make sure that we had the right tournaments all in the correct categories. So it's the usual thing, contacting the last perfect league winner, so he gets his trophy. So there's kind of a lot that goes on, and it usually ends around this time, and then I start focusing on other things. But you want to have me on, I'll be happy to talk. I'm always happy to talk to you, Lap. I always love
Excellent.
listening to you in the background while I'm working, you and EVC and Dr. Dynastic and all the other streamers. We really do have a great group of affiliates, and I love seeing how different people play the games and able to do that. And in watching and listening, it gives us different ideas of what we can incorporate and how we do things.
All right. Well, we'll talk OOTP a little bit later. We got to start off with a little bit of icebreakers. Every time I have a guest on the show, I like to do some icebreakers. Just some oddball kind of questions. Nothing too personal, but oddball questions to kind of get you in the flow of the conversation. So here's some rapid fire questions for you. First one: you're at home alone. No one's around. They're not going to be home all day. You're hungry. You can order anything you want from DoorDash. What does Nicolino get?
And I have to say, I'm probably going White Castle. If I'm
White
home by
Castle.
myself and I have to worry about hearing from my wife or the kids, oh, it smells, it stinks up the house, I'll just DoorDash White Castle.
All right. Well, we don't have that we don't have that in Canada, so I can't compare this. I'm a Five Guys burgers and fries kind of guy, but
I like Five Guys. Five Guys has good burgers. But if I can't I'm not just gonna do like order a pizza and just have a pie and order pepperoni pie. I'm gonna do White Castle. That's sort of my I've joked about it, I think, on TJ's stream a few times in the comments when we've talked about just joking about fast food and things like that. But it's sort of my guilty pleasure. That's one of the things I'll sit down and eat a dozen of them if I can.
all right. Okay. Wow. That reminds me of my younger days and the cheeseburger. Just those back my days in McDonald's, cheeseburgers were like 50 cents. And so, you easily for $5 you get 10 of them, and the pickles on the cheeseburger. Oh man. Okay. Now I'm getting hungry. All right. Rapid fire question 2. Which is the movie you could watch over and over and over? And in fact, you've probably watched it many times already. What is that one movie for Nicolino?
Wow. There's a few of them, but like, man, over and over again. This is trying to pick just one of them. There's a movie I go to when I just want to laugh or it's Clerks. It's
Oh,
definitely Clerks. It's like
Kevin
I can
Smith.
throw that on and just sit back. It's a quick watch. So much fun. And so many, obviously, someone who grew up in New Jersey, so many Jersey references that just makes me laugh.
All right. Yeah.
Especially from the 90s,
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Those that grew up in the 80s or 90s know exactly what we're talking about with Clerks. All right. Next question. Rapid fire, the 4 major sports. Okay. Favorite NBA team or
Knicks.
MLB team?
Well, MLB, it's the Mets. I think
Okay.
everyone knows. Rich and I are on the Mets. We're part of the Mets contingent of OOTP staff.
NHL.
Rangers. as you can see by my coffee mug.
NBA
Knicks,
and NFL,
the Jets, unfortunately.
and your favorite curling skip.
Oh, wow. That's a good question. And you want to know why? Because when I was a sports writer, I got to cover curling in the
Oh, no
Olympics.
way.
So I did a lot of work with bios and things like that. I would say, I'm trying to remember some of the names. I remember Cheryl Bernard was a big Canadian skip a couple of Olympics ago. I know there was her last name Johnson lap? Cheryl Bernard eliminated a woman who was a lawyer, a blonde woman who was a lawyer, and then she went to the following Olympics. I think her last name was Johnson. Um, I'm not
My,
remembering her first name.
might
Jen
have been.
Johnson, maybe?
Yeah, the female curlers I'm not as familiar with, but basically it's a Canadian is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, she was a Canadian woman, and then there was on the men's side. I remember a balding gentleman. I cannot remember his name. He was like a legendary Canadian curler. I did these bios a long time ago. I had to do explainers of how curling actually worked for AP, and they had like accompanying charts and all this stuff. And I showed some classic moves that were done in the I don't know why I'm drawing a blank now. The big tournament up in Canada uh, at various world championships. What's the big tournament in Canada?
The Briar.
Yes, the Bright. And
Yeah.
there were various like legendary moves, and so I had our artists sort of like show some of these moves that were knocking out, getting into the house or getting to the target, and how these were winning moves and stuff like that. So I got a real good intimate look at curling. I contacted some people at USA Curling, talked to some folks there. They're obviously very common, and anyone they know that come Olympic time, everyone's interested in curling. But it was always fun because they were very accommodating when it came to needing photos, headshots, just details on the bios. Um, so it was a lot of fun. Curling. I tried it once when we lived out in Illinois. I went out to the Kenosha Curling Club in Wisconsin with my wife, and it's really hard. Like trying to keep your balance on the ice, especially when the one you have like the one shoe has like I forget what's underneath it that allows you to glide,
Yeah.
and trying to keep your balance, even throwing the stone. They're teaching you to hold, like you're basically holding one stone to keep your balance and another stone to actually let go. But the touch on the stone, the balance you have to keep, and then they obviously anything done at the highest level looks so easy. And that is a sport where when it's done at the highest level, you're thinking anybody can do it, right? It's just bowling on ice. But when you're out there, wow, it is. I mean, I fell on my butt a few times.
Yeah. And when you fall on ice, it like it's hard.
Oh,
You got the pebble on there, so it's a little bit gritty kind of
mhm.
ice. You got the
Yeah,
slider on one foot. You got the rubber or the I forget what they call it on the other foot, just to make sure you don't completely fall on your butt.
yeah,
And
and then it was Erie GM here is asking about the broom. Even when you're sweeping, like you are leaning, like my wife fell trying to sweep, and it is just tremendously difficult. And I would have loved to continue going to learn it and to really like understand it more and just get a feel of it. But I get the feeling the learning curve is is huge. And there were guys there who competed at various tournaments nationally in the U.S. and Canada on their club, and watching them, and they were instructing us. But man, it was really hard. And the idea that there's a drinking aspect to curling as well. Like I couldn't do that sober. I can't imagine having a few beers and trying to do that because
yeah,
it's a very social sport.
well,
You
that's
know,
that's the thing about curling. Once the games are done, all the teams go up to the patch, the Briar patch, and they just drink their faces off, and they're
yeah.
ready for the next morning. There's no hangover with curlers. They go out there the next morning. Man, what's the most common phrase you hear in curling?
Oh, is it good curling?
Well, the most common phrase on the ice though is what?
No.
Hard, harder,
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My skip would make me sweep until my arms fell off. That's how much he tortured me. I was a lead, so I threw the first rocks, which usually you throw up guards so other
Hmm.
people can curl around, and I had to do all the sweeping. And believe me, that is a workout. You don't need to go jogging and lift weights. You just need to curl for a few years, and you get quite the workout.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Never would I thought that curling would lead to a 5 minute conversation.
I got to, that was one of the great things about being a sports writer, where I was at Stats. The things we did, we got exposed to a lot of things, and you had to know, and we can talk more obviously about working at Stats, which was mostly, sports data collections, and we were in the editorial department. Everyone who worked there had to know you didn't have a specialty. Like you may have had a sport you leaned on or people needed you. Like for me, it was soccer was my expertise in soccer coming from the soccer world. That was something they wanted to take advantage of. However, you needed to know everything else and you couldn't be deficient in anything. You had to have some type of solid baseline to work. And then as you were going, you needed to learn more about the Olympic sports as well. So I did curling was one. I did ski jumping. That was interesting. And then you realize the just how dangerous that sport really is, but how modern it's become. You don't see, you see the V formations on there when they take off now. You don't see the accidents that you used to see when we were kids. But that was when I did some work there. I'm trying to think of some of the Summer Olympics. Well, usually Summer Olympics, that's where I would get all the soccer. Like literally, they were like, just handle all the soccer stuff, and we'll take care of everything else. And I was more than happy to oblige there.
Wow. Yeah. Do you remember, speaking of ski jumping, do you remember the this guy here, Eddie the Eagle?
Yep, I remember that. Didn't they make a movie about him a few years ago?
Yeah, there he is. Eddie the Eagle. Yeah. What that made the Olympics so fun to watch. I can't remember if those were the ones in Calgary or Lake
Yeah, I
Placid.
think I think that was Calgary because that was right. I felt like I watched Calgary Olympics all the time when I was a kid. So I would have been what, 88? So I
Yeah.
was 13 years old. It's right in your sort of formative years as a sports fan. And the Calgary Olympic, the hockey, because I believe was the Soviet team the CIS in that one, in that
I
hockey tournament?
think it wasn't it CCCP, I think.
Well, weren't they like were they not in transition yet between the Soviets to the Russians?
It was a Red Army. I don't
It
know. I
was still
don't
the Red Army in '88. Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
I'm pretty sure it was because the Soviet Union didn't fall till 1991. So
So maybe it was
I,
'92. I'm thinking of is the when
yeah,
they had that sort of
92 would have
transition
been
for the teams.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I
All
think
right, yeah.
90. I think '88. The '88 Olympics. The U.S. I believe it was it LeBlanc was the goaltender for the U.S. team, who was carrying he was carrying them for a period of time. That was when the U.S. would send amateurs before the NHL.
Right.
Well, '92 was when the wait was it '92 when the NHL started sending, or was it '94? Remember there was a 92 and '94 Winter Olympics when the
Wasn't
U.S. team and the U.S. hockey team trashed the hotel because they bombed out of the Olympic hockey tournament.
was that the World Cup though?
No, the World Cup was here in the U.S. and Canada. That was when the U.S. won, um, because the U.S. had like Brett Hull and Mike
Right.
Richter, Brian Leach, Jeremy Roenick, I believe, was on that team. Because I remember that I went to a game at Madison Square Garden. I saw the U.S. play Russia at that tournament. Um, LaFontaine was on the team, but I don't remember. I feel like there was an Olympics in there where the U.S. the first time they sent the NHLers and the U.S. team just did terrible. And I believe the Czechs came out as gold medalists, if I
Could have
remember
been.
correctly. And that was a big surprise. Although if you watch hockey, you knew it wasn't a surprise with how loaded those teams were with guys like Jaromir Jagr and Pavel Dimitra and guys like that.
I know. I think it was Japan. Was Japan 98 when
I,
NHL players went for the first time and Gretzky was left on the bench for the shootout?
maybe that's what I am thinking. Is it 98? Was it that long? I'm gonna look up. That was Nagano.
Might have been, yeah. I thought it was. I thought that was the first one was 98, but it could have been like I don't know. We can check up because we have a fancy thing called Google here where
Yeah.
we can check out the different results. So 98 was in Nagano, and that's where Dominik Hasek and the Czechs
Yep.
just that's what beat Canada. It was Dominik
Yep.
Hasek and his unorthodox style. So that's where Canada came fourth, and the U.S. was, way down there. And
The U.S. got knocked out by the Czechs in the quarters. This was the first. So 98 was the first time the NHLers went, but the U.S. lost 4-1 to the Czechs in the quarters, and then their players trashed the hotel. But they also went. They only won one game because they lost twice. Lost to Sweden and lost to Canada in the group stage. So the U.S. was just in awful, awful shape.
yeah, Canada beat them 4-1, and then they beat Belarus 5-2. And then where's the other USA one? Sweden beat them 4-2 in the preliminary round.
And you're
Uh,
right. Going back to 90, looking it up, going back to 98, that was the final Soviet Union appearance. So
right.
they won the gold. The U.S. finished outside. They finished fourth. Or wait, no, I'm sorry.
No, 98 was the Czechs.
88. No, 88. I'm going back to I'm going back to Calgary. Calgary was my first real Winter Olympics, sort of like really delving into. I love the Olympics. I think the Olympics is so much fun. I still to this day will watch as many events as possible. I love the World Junior Championships when that rolls around this time of year when it comes to hockey. I just love seeing the international teams take on. I mean, as someone who is big on soccer as well, just love the international sports flavor.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, women's hockey, it's always US and Canada always seem to be, in the final, those two teams. And the European female hockey teams are catching up a little bit, but those two teams just dominate and they kind of take turns winning different
Yeah.
tournaments. So uh, there's not one dominant team. All right, last rapid fire question. These haven't been really rapid fire, but you have an opportunity to go to one of these four events. Which one does Nicolino go to? You can go to Game 7, Stanley Cup Final in New York with the Rangers, Game 7 with the Knicks, Game 7 with the Mets, or not the Super Bowl, because that's too easy, but what is it, conference championship before the Super Bowl?
Oh, the conference championship. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Jets haven't hosted. I don't think
with
the
the
Jets have hosted a playoff game since 2002. And I was
so
at that game against the Colts.
which experience do you go with? Which Game
I
7?
think, wow, that's that's really hard because of the state the franchise is in, and just I'm leaning towards saying the Jets hosting an AFC title game, but there's something about being at the Garden with the cup in attendance. I didn't get to go in 94. I think that would, this is like a photo finish. I think the cup would edge out each of those situations just by a hair. I got to see the Mets sweep the Cubs in the 2015 NLCS at Wrigley Field, much to the chagrin of my wife, who is a Cubs fan. Uh, I A Knicks playoff game would definitely be electric, and the Garden would always be hopping. But there's something about that. Seeing the cup get raised in person would be something special. There's
Right.
something about that trophy brings a different element to the whole thing. That trophy, just the history behind it, getting your name on it, and it's to a certain degree. Everyone when everyone wins the perfectly, they get a trophy. we have 40 trophies we give out every year. And when I took this job, Rich had this design that they had been given out. And the following year, I was like, well, should we change the design? And as I was talking to the trophy company, I just said, you know what? This is our Stanley Cup. It's going to be this design. We're going to tweak the colors a little bit just to make so there's some differences between year to year. But I had the Stanley Cup in mind, just thinking like, this is what it looks like, and we're going to sort of make this iconic for those who play Perfect Team. And that was always on my mind because there's no other trophy. You can talk about, the Jules Rimet Trophy when it comes to the World Cup. You can talk about, the Larry O'Brien Trophy for the NBA championships. You can talk about the Lombardi Trophy. The Stanley Cup is basically this living, breathing trophy that has all the history oozing off of it that I don't think any other trophy compares to it.
Well, and you know what? It's kind of a synchronicity because you know who won Perfect Team this week? A Canadian.
Yeah, he's in Vancouver. So
Yeah.
he's I actually just was emailing with him today to make sure I have his address and I got his trophy getting started in production.
And he's in the house today. Rojo, Vancouver.
There he
Congratulations
is.
on taking the Stanley Cup. Perfect Team. And Nicolino, I think what makes it such a magical trophy, there's a couple things. One is, when it's presented to the players, not the owner, not the
Right.
management, and
Mm-hmm.
then they skate around the ice and they pass it off. The second thing is, I don't know if sports fans are aware of this, but in hockey, over the summertime, each player gets to spend 1 day with the cup. They transport the cup to every player, management,
Mm-hmm.
everyone on that team gets a day with the cup, and they can do whatever they want. Some have put it in their swimming pool. Some have had their dog sleep in the top of it. Some have parties, parade. That's what makes it magical because it's not just, okay, here's the owner holding up a little World Series trophy or whatever. It's shared amongst the entire team.
Right. And even the staff gets it for a day.
Yeah.
And I forget what the gentleman's name after the Rangers won because they did so much abuse to the cup. They started sending the gentleman that's known for traveling with the cup. He goes with them. But there have been some tremendous stories. Obviously, Ray Bourque going back to Boston after winning it with Colorado, bringing the cup to Boston because he never got a chance. Well, he never won it. He got a chance, right? You guys, the Oilers, did a number on the Bruins in the Stanley Cup Finals that year. There's a great when the Blackhawks won it for the first time. There's some great video of Jonathan Taves bringing it to Winnipeg. So you get a lot of these moments, and it creates these tremendous iconic moments that very few sports can do with making the players connect to the communities.
Yeah. Yeah. We see on screen here some of the things that have been done with the Stanley Cup for players that have shared it. It's fed a horse at the Kentucky Derby. Crazy. It's been to war, and here's the white glove. They might have a different representative now, but you're right. There's someone whose job is just to travel with the Stanley Cup from place to place. Well, you want to make sure you clean it afterwards.
Yeah.
It's just such, like you said, such a magical, mystical kind of experience when you win the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Well, and Rojo is talking about '94 being traumatic for Vancouver. Then I won't bring up the Bruins for Vancouver, right?
No,
Shouldn't
no,
do
no,
that.
no.
That had to be way more traumatic. It had to be than '94.
Yeah, I don't know.
Weren't
But
they
I mean,
up 3-1 in the series? Weren't the Canucks up 3-1?
I I don't know if they were. Rojo will know better, but for me, I mean, then there was the Islanders when the Islanders beat them. I think it was 81 or 82. So Vancouver has
Mm-hmm.
come close 3 times, and they had Pavel Bure, they had Stan Smeon, King Richard Brodeur in the 80s, and then lately they had the Sedins, and just they've come this close and I feel bad. I mean, Vancouver, Edmonton have huge rivalries. I feel bad for Vancouver, but they'll get theirs one day. They have a good team this year.
It was, I mean, I think about Pavel Bure and Kirk McLean and just so many great players throughout their history. And I'll say this, very underrated uniforms. I love their uniform history. I love their color schemes. I used to love the V uniform, Tiger Williams and that era. You'll find that I love uniforms. I love jerseys and logos, and so you'll find me on Sports Logos website and looking things up. But I love that era of Vancouver. I think they were always, there was something. I love franchises that look for ways to differentiate themselves. And sometimes my teams I look at as boring. Like the Rangers are just red, white, and blue. The Knicks are just blue and orange, city colors. The Mets, obviously blue and orange, which they take their colors from the Dodgers and Giants from leaving town. But there's something about some teams that can go out on a limb and make those colors, unique colors, they're part of their identity. That's pretty bold.
Yeah. Yeah, we see some of the Vancouver ones here, and you're probably talking about the black and orange and yellow ones, those old school ones.
Yeah, those
yeah.
those were great. And by the way, yeah, the Canucks were up 2-0 in that series, and then they were up 3-2 going back to Vancouver, and then lost. And then obviously they just fell apart in Game 7.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's last question I have for you is, you talked about jerseys. You're a big jersey guy, big logo guy. What is the last jersey or ball cap you purchased?
So ball caps. I've got about, Sporer and I talk about this a lot. I've got over 100 baseball caps. So I like my caps. Actually, I talked with TJ as well. Sometimes we knock around about it in the affiliates Discord, and we talk about things. So the last time I went into a hat store was recently. Yes, he's not wrong. That's happened. I have bought 10 caps in a week. So last time I walked out with 3 hats, and it was a Chicago Cubs hat that was sort of a colorway, different colors to the Cubs logo. It was a Cubs logo. I mean, I can grab them if you want to see what they look like. And then I grabbed 2 Newark Eagles hats. The Newark Eagles were a Negro League team. Newark is where I grew up, so I kind of have an attachment. That's my perfect team name and logo. And I had one Newark Eagles hat that I bought a few years ago. And I saw these, and I just had to have them. They were different. One has a gray crown, whereas the other one is just the traditional navy blue with the curly E on it. But the E is in like almost like an off-white goldish kind of color. So I kind of liked the way that stood out. But hats, my wife would get on my case every so often. She's like, "There's another box outside. Did you get another hat?" And it's like, "No, of course not. I got 2. It was buy one, get one, or it was buy one, get one half price." So I've got quite a bit. I have a whole bin. She actually bought for me storage bins, and they're sort of like these storage bags that I can zip them up because I have a little brush. I try to keep them clean. I spray them so that they're waterproofed in case I'm out and it's raining. I really try to take care of my hats. And I have one bin that has at least 30 Mets hats in it. I have one right here. Here's a Mets hat. I was gonna wear this later. The Mets hat with some holly on it that I'm wearing for the holiday season.
So the ones you purchased, are they showing on screen here? Are those the ones that you're talking about?
No, they'll let me show you which one. It was from Ebbets Field Flannels. Let's see if I can send you the link here.
What's the name of the team? Ebbets Field.
It was Ebbets Field Flannels is where was the brand. I bought it at Lids. But it was an Ebbets Field Flannels branded hat.
This one right here?
Not that one. It's just an E. Here, I'll grab them. Give me a sec.
All right. And while Nicolino's doing that, we're going to do a little bit of Nicolino trivia here for some packs. So be ready, get ready. I got a couple questions. And those of you that may know Nicolino personally, you are not eligible to win these prizes. These go out to the community that doesn't know Nicolino because they're pretty easy questions if you, if you work with Nicolino or know Nicolino fairly well. All right. So just like TJ, something about OOTP employees that like their hats. So let's see.
So this is the one.
Oh, okay.
So and this one has a side patch on this side.
Okay,
So I really liked how the E came out on that. And then this one, like I said, has a gray crown on top. Same concept. It's outlined in the gold, you can see. And then that Cubs hat. So this is a little bit different. I just thought this was pretty neat. My wife liked it, so I figured I'd appease her and have a nice Cubs hat to go with. And it has like a Wrigley Field patch on the side.
Oh, cool.
So I definitely like my hats. I've got a bunch of like San Diego Padres. I really like going with Vancouver. We talked about Vancouver. I like the way the Padres have had some of their color schemes through the years. I love when they did the mustard. I love that they went back to that. So some of the stuff, I do have a Toronto Blue Jays hat. I have one. It's all black, and the Blue Jays logo is actually in black.
Oh,
I have a bunch of Angels hats. I love the Angels. To me, the A with the halo in various forms is one of the more iconic logos out there, and it's one of the most underrated, I think.
And how about Expos?
Oh yeah, of course. That goes without saying. I've got about 5 Expos hats of various colors. I obviously have the traditional clown hat because anyone who collects hats has to have that. That has got to be a staple. I've got one that's like purple. I've got one that's like an ice blue. And the other one along with the Expos, I'm finding I love the Brooklyn Dodgers B, and just the slight difference from the Red Sox B. So I've got a few Brooklyn Dodgers hats. That EDC will be happy that I've got some Brooklyn Dodgers.
Oh man, I can't. I don't know how you would store all those hats if you've got those little hat hangers with the little clips on the bottom.
They don't see the light of day until I'm wearing them. Like I keep them. I have bags, and I have them all just sort of like lined up in a bag, and I can tell from the side which hats they are, whether it's through the colors. I keep them grouped by team, so I know either by side patch or I know by the colors of which one, and then I just look to see what am I wearing today or what mood am I in to wear a hat. If I ever wear an Expos hat, that gets the most comments from anybody. That by far. I have a Houston Oilers hat, which is probably second. So just a very simple Houston Oilers baby blue with the oil derrick. If I wear that or if I wear Expos, people will comment on it. The only hat I need to find is a Hartford Whalers hat, a proper green with the white logo. And finding out in a fitted is not easy. And I know that's one. If you wear Whalers around here, people will. I have a Whalers hoodie that I wear every so often, and people will always comment if I'm wearing that.
And honestly, because she's not around right now, is your wife okay with this?
Oh, she rolls her eyes. She thinks I'm a complete sports geek. Look. My wife is a tremendous success in what she does. She leads a sales team. She does a tremendous job, and she really has excelled in her career. And I am so proud of her, and I love. We support her in everything she accomplishes. Actually, she's out today. It's one of the reasons why I can do this today is because I can speak freely in the home because she's not working. We both work from home, so she'll be on calls throughout the day or doing presentations. So right now I'm in our dining room as opposed to being in the basement, which is usually if people see me in streaming, if it looks like I'm in a bunker, I practically am because I'm in the basement. But I can do something like this today because she's not here, and I can just speak without having to worry about, disrupting her. But she looks at me at what I do, and she kind of rolls her eyes, or she kind of chuckles that, like, I've had some of the most ridiculous jobs that anyone can ever have, and I understand that, and I feel blessed that I've been able to do that. But I don't always look at my job as work,
Yeah.
because this is fun, and it's fun to be able to do something that you're passionate about. Like, sports has been is since I was a little kid, this has been part of my identity, is being a big sports fan. I was the kid, just like many of our players, just I'm sure you. I picked up the newspaper, I looked at the box scores, I collected baseball cards and would try to put together teams. When I would play wiffle ball with my brothers, we would all name who we were going to be at bat. We would have lineup sheets to say, okay, now this guy's up, now this guy's up, and try to keep stats. I worked at a company at Stats. One of the things we did every year is we had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament for the employees, and we kept stats, and we had a database of all of our numbers that were filtered and sortable. So if you wanted to go back in history, you could go back in history to every tournament, and I think it went on for 20 plus years, and we had the statistics for all of them, and then we can compile them and see who who led in fouls, who led in 3-pointers, everything. It was all sortable, and after you were done playing your game, you sat down and you scored the next game. So that's that's the type of environment I've been in.
Okay, and you mentioned your wife, and let's get on to some of the other things that you're involved with and your wife's involved with, and one thing you shared with me is that both of you are involved with DSDN. Maybe talk a little bit about that and your involvement with that organization.
Sure. So some people may know our. So we have 3 kids. Our middle guy, who's 11, has Down syndrome. He's popped in on some streams a few times when I've been on. The few times I'm on, he has popped up, and he comes in and says hello to everybody. His name is Luca. So Luca was a birth diagnosis. We did not know Luca had Down syndrome as we're going through the pregnancy adventure. And after he was born, there was a lot of questions over what this meant. I didn't have experience with anyone with Down syndrome, and neither did Jenny. So we really didn't know. We leaned heavily on our family to answer a lot of questions. And my sister, who's a teacher, and my cousin, who's a doctor, they would give us they gave us a lot of advice, and we did a lot of research into looking through it. As shortly after he was born, my wife somehow got connected with these other moms, and they began the Down Syndrome Diagnosis Network, the DSDN. And their goal was in helping parents who get a diagnosis, help them understand what sort of lies ahead and how this works, whether it's communicating with other parents, whether it's providing information, all done in a non-biased way, more informational purposes. And also what they did was they started working with doctors and hospitals around the country in delivering the diagnosis, because many times the diagnosis isn't delivered the way you may expect it to be. And in comparing stories, there were a lot of comparisons that showed the diagnosis wasn't um, delivered with the kindness you would expect, or with the correct information, or however. And so they provided literature and spoke to a lot of hospitals around the country, like I said, and sort of saying, this is how you sort of present this, and what needs you to help these families to make a decision on what they want to do, whether it's a diagnosis early on in the pregnancy, or whether it's a diagnosis at birth. I think the odds, I've heard a story about this a long time ago. I think the odds for Luca to have Down syndrome was like 1 in like 650 or something like that. It was such long odds. So when he was born, it was a big shock to us. And as we went through it, we started to understand what he brought to our family. And what he's brought has been, and he's gone through other health issues. He had infantile spasms, which are seizures, about 6 months in. So that pretty much wiped everything he learned. It just basically hit the reset button, and it puts him on a different trajectory when it comes to learning. Um, that that I mean, that obviously makes him what he is today, where he's a fifth grader. He's 11 years old. He's involved in his class through an inclusion program that we have here at the school district. We were able to help where we were before. We were able to help that school district in putting together an inclusion program, and they did a wonderful job in getting him involved in a neurotypical classroom, as well as giving him pullouts and push-ins that he needed for services or with special education. So he brings so much light to everyone. Everyone loves him, and he is the happiest little guy. And there's nothing I would, it's he changes your perception and focus on life for sure. And when you see kids like this who can deliver something that I was a very cynical person in general, for the most part, sarcastic and cynical growing up in New Jersey, shocking. But he gives you a certain perspective on a lot of things. And it not only do you want to continue helping children like this and families like this, but he just brings so much happiness. And I see what he does to our other two kids, and you see the empathy they have for people, and you see all of this stuff that they do for other people is learned at home in their experiences with him. And it really is life changing in more ways than people can comprehend. Um, and when you see families going through this, when you see families kind of dealing with a child with a disability of any sort, um, it's always okay to check on them to make sure they're okay. It's always okay to make sure that they've got the support they need. Um, but we joke with in our house that Luca is the easiest one. He's the easiest going guy. He can just he'll figure out a way to get what he wants, and he runs with it. And DSDN and the support that Jenny has gotten through other colleagues, other parents. We have obviously there are dad groups, things like that. There's there's so many resources that through relationships, and that's the key thing I've learned through life is relationships are what's going to help you, and that those shared experiences are only going to get you to the next one, because so many times other people are going through the same things you are, but to have that sense of community, that sense of like, oh yeah, did anyone's kid do this? And yeah, absolutely, mine did that, a few months ago, and this is what happened, and this is what we did. Or and it doesn't have to be medical issues; it could be just achievements. For Luca, it took him a long time to walk, but we were able to understand what was going on. Other people were going through similar issues when it came to walking. To this day, Luca is at 11 years old, is nonverbal. He uses a device to speak. And we're able to understand that there are other people going through this. There are other people who do these things. You're not on an island. There are other people out there who can help you, and DSDN opens those doors for people in these situations. And a lot of the parents get grouped into in groups of their age, and that's part of how they create their communities. And they're I think the part of the success that Jenny has found, my wife has found, is when she meets someone and they say, "Oh, my nephew has Down syndrome," or "I have a cousin who has Down syndrome," and then she will usually say, like, "Oh, have you told your cousin or your sister about the SDN?" And they usually come back and say yes. Knowing that all that work they did early on is paying off like that is tremendous, and they're wildly successful. Jenny still sits on their board. Um, I help when I can. We go to various events, and it's knowing that you can make that kind of an impact. And I had the pleasure of serving on a school board recently, prior to us moving to New Jersey, and taking some of the things we learned at and working at DSDN and using that when it came to helping to implement things in a school district that goes a long way because it feels like you're actually doing something. You're actually impacting the lives of not just your kid, but the kids who are coming next. And that really makes for something gratifying.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Nicolino. And yeah, what if you want to get involved or share that link? I put it in the chat there below. So feel free to share that out to someone that you feel might benefit. We're up on a hard break here, Nicolino. So we'll be back in 2 minutes' time. And then we're going to play some Nicolino trivia. And Nicolino, you're going to help me with today's bounty draft. So get ready for that. Be back
Okay.
in 2 minutes. We are back after the break here with Nicolino, Perfect Team Product Manager, and we will talk Perfect Team a little bit later. We'll get into OOT in just a little bit, but you know what? Let's see how much you guys, how lucky you can get with your guesses, or how well you've listened to Nicolino when he's been on streams in the past. We've got a few packs to give away, and again, huge shout out to OOTP for allowing myself and other affiliates to give you guys, the community, a chance to win these packs. So we're going to give you 5 packs if you can answer this question here. First one to ring in. So Nicolino, watch the chat there for me to make sure
Okay.
we catch the right person. So first question is, I asked Nicolino who his all-time favorite Major League Baseball player was. Who do you think that player is? Nicolino's all-time favorite baseball player. Put your guesses in the chat. 5 packs if you're the first one to come in with the answer.
Some good guesses so far.
Yeah, they're definitely coming in on the right theme, I think.
I'll say Chalupa Pants is probably closest.
Oh, there's Nicolino giving out the hints a little bit.
Robbie Clayby, number 2, that's for sure.
We're not talking favorite contract. No,
Yeah.
not that.
It's funny. Someone mentioned Ron Darling. Man, it took me a long time to sort of, someone got Mookie Wilson. Oh, and it's Rojo. He got it.
Rojo Vancouver with Mookie Wilson.
I'll give you a quick Ron Darling story. It took me a long time to forgive him for the 88 NLCS Game 7 because he was a starting pitcher and he did not pitch well. And I was very, very angry with him as a kid. That it took me a long time to recover from that.
Mookie Wilson. What was it about Mookie? Just
I think it's just the energy he brought, the leadership he brought. I love guys who can play defense, as I've mentioned on streams many times. I look for, even when I play PT, I look for guys who are very, very good defensively. I'll use defensive replacements, things like that. It's just sort of a philosophy of how I just enjoy baseball. I love guys who are good with the glove. And such a great catch by Mookie. But I also love with Mookie, he could play different outfield spots. But when I first started watching Mookie hard, and I was 11 years old, you don't comprehend, like, because you watch your team every day, you almost think like the league is made for your team. It's like a TV show, that your team is the main character of this league. So it was, and when you see something like that, you can't, that collision with Dykstra was awful, in the following year. But you don't comprehend a lot of this because they are your world. And when they win that, it's just it brings it to another level of just unbelievable, almost like scripted, some scripted show.
yeah.
So, but yeah, well, going back to the Red Sox, I think at this point, the Red Sox, there was a story, I forget which newspaper in New York wrote it, and it was something along the lines of, uh, for the Red Sox to beat the Yankees, they had to become the Yankees, and that's what they did to eventually get their World Series. Um, but I think at this point, the Red Sox have won. I think they've forgiven Buckner. They've moved on from it, and they've gotten plenty of titles. Between at this point, Boston is not the sorry town between the Patriots and the Bruins and the Celtics. I mean, I've seen. I was joking with, when I lived in Chicago, I would hear from, there are a lot of Bears fans right now are very down, and they talk about, oh, the Bears, and are they ever going to be good? It's like, I would look at them and go, you saw the Bears win a Super Bowl. You've seen the Cubs win a World Series. You've seen the White Sox win a World Series. You saw Michael Jordan on the Bulls. You've seen the Blackhawks with a dynasty. I've seen 2 championships of all of my teams. I've seen the Mets win in '86, and I saw the Rangers win in '94. That's it. That's what I got. So I don't want to hear some sob story about Chicago and poor Chicago when you had Michael Jordan running around town and Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves. And
Yeah, yeah,
are you
yeah.
serious right now?
That's a
You're
valid point.
parading cups around here every couple of years. Like, I don't want to hear that.
And now that time has passed, I don't know if you saw this ad that came out. Let me put the sound on this one.
Could you pass the sugar? Piece of cake. Nice flowers, Moose.
You can't rewrite history, but every October, new history is made. Catch up with the postseason on MLB Network.
Should have had that. Yeah, I've been there.
Oh, what a great that these two guys can get together and kind of move on from that situation in the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's get on to some OOTP and tell us a little bit about your evolution into out of the park baseball, kind of where you came from and how did you get wrapped up in this crazy little simulation game that we love to play every day?
Okay, so I got to take us back, way back. So I'll go back to my first experience playing these type of games. So I first came across, going back to 1995, I first came across a soccer game called Championship Manager. I'd never seen anything like it before. It is what is now Football Manager. The idea of having a game where you don't necessarily have control with what's happening on the field. You are just the manager. You can set your training. You can sign players. all of that. That opened a world that I did not know existed. I played, I played NHL '94 on Sega. I've played, still to this day, I'll play Tecmo Super Bowl at tournaments and sometimes online. I love arcadey video games. I love retro video games. But when it came to sports games, I always found, kind of like those cheats, right? Everyone knew how you cheated in NHL '94 and '95, right? You knew how to cheat. You were down, you knew come across, backhand, up corner on the goaltender, and you can come back into the game. One timers in NHL '94, so you knew how to do it. And
Yeah.
but if you take the controller out of your hand, can you do it? And that's what I found with Championship Manager. And I was able to play with, as a big Italian soccer fan. I love Serie A. I watch it weekly. And being able to take control of the team, sign players, and create formations and tactics, that opened a whole new world. And I would joke that I was probably one of the, if not the first, one of the first people in the US playing this game, because I'd never seen it. And I saw it while visiting family in Australia, and I'd never heard of it before. I made copies of it and on floppy disks and brought it home with me and installed it on a friend's computer, and I would play it constantly in between classes while I was in college. And I just kept getting the new version every year. And at some point, I started connecting with the staff there. And next thing I know, I was on their research team looking up data. I would help them with their US data. And that sort of became a thing I did on the side. They gave me a free copy of the game for helping them with the data. So that's what I played every year. At one point, I had heard of OOTP. I had heard of other games that are around for various other sports, front office football and so forth. But I was so immersed in Football Manager. But at some point, I was like, I want to try something different. I want to see, let's venture into OOTP. Now, keep in mind, this was when I was at Stats. When I made this sort of jump from Football Manager to OOTP was when I was doing soccer analytics. So I was working with teams, and I was their contact when it came to soccer analytics. So I was very much like really in all the numbers when it came to soccer. Our clients were U.S. Soccer Federation, various professional teams, college teams. On the women's side, who were wildly successful. And so when you're in all that, you kind of need a break. You need something else. Like when I was working in MLS, I'd play Football Manager. So my wife, at one point, I was working for a team and I was the assistant GM. This is not in MLS. I was working for a minor league team. I was the assistant GM. I was doing player evaluations. Then I would come home and play Football Manager. She's like, let me get this straight. You do this for a living and you come home and play a video game that mimics what you do at work. And I was like, yeah, I just love it so much. And this is what I talked about earlier, being blessed at the things you can do. Being able to have these type of jobs and have this type of experience is just, it's wonderful. And while I was doing that soccer analytics, I looked for something different because now I was going to have a train ride, and I was going to have an hour and a half train ride where I needed something to do. And I knew Football Manager was so in depth that trying to play it without my computer plugged in was going to drain the battery. I had no chance. So I go to OOTP, and I think this was OOTP 16. It was prior to Perfect Team coming out, and I'm fiddling with it, and I'm fiddling with it in the office. And I'm just trying to get a feel of it, how to set up the game, how to, what team do I want to manage. I took the Brewers on because they were in the doldrums at that time, and they're the smallest market of all the smallest markets. And our head baseball research guy comes over. And he goes, "Are you playing OTP?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I play that." He's like, "I'm playing historical save with the Boston Braves." And next thing you know, we are having conversations anytime we bump into each other about our save games. And he still works at Stats. I still email with him every so often. He's tremendously brilliant when it comes to baseball. And but it was fun having that connection. So when PT came out, I was so excited. I was like, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like being able to open up packs. I was playing MLB The Show and doing Diamond Dynasty. And this seemed like a logical step. But I was, like I said, I was working at Stats, and shortly at some point, I was let go at Stats, but I was also planning to be home with the kids. At that point, we had made a decision that was going to have happened, so they paid me to go away, which, hey, that's fine. So I was home playing PT, taking care of the kids, and I was getting to know Rich and Chris Jardine just through Discord, like everyone else does. It gets to know us, right? Just sending messages like this, don't like this, here's some feedback, here's this. And at one point during the pandemic, there's a job opening for tech support, part-time tech support. I wasn't working, I'm helping the kids with remote learning. So I applied for it. I was like, I need something to do, just make a couple of bucks during the pandemic. And Rich reaches out and is like, are you seriously interested in this? And I was like, yeah, I am. What, we get on the phone, we talk for a while, and he's like, are you sure this is something you want to do? Like, this is just simple answering tickets. And I was like, yeah, why not? Like I said, I think you can benefit from having me, and I can benefit from having you. I need something to do, and you can use someone who's had all this experience, doing this. I'm not looking for you to pay me a ton of money. Pay me what you have the job allotted for, and we'll do that. And he hired me, and next thing I know, I'm on board where I'm just answering tickets. It's very simple stuff, as far as like helping people with tech support things. And about 4 months later, 5 months later, Comtus had come in and had purchased OOTP, and Rich calls me up and says, hey, I have a job that I created that I think you'd be perfect for. And he pitches me the idea of the product manager role. And we went back and forth discussing it, made it to what we thought was appropriate in order to give support to Chris Jardine and the other staff. And next thing I know, I'm full time, and this is what I'm doing, and this is what I've been doing for the past few years, and I'm loving it. I enjoy it all the time. I absolutely love being able to communicate with the community when necessary, hearing feedback, good and bad. I can't always explain what we're doing or why certain things get done due to various legal reasons or agreements and things like that, but I try to be as transparent as possible. I love coming up with ways to make things more fun because I've played this game too, and I still play it. I don't play it as intensely as I did before because I'm just busier with other things, as far as like just making sure the game is operating and operating at the level I want, but creating tournaments, creating the leaderboards, the PTCS. Like when Rich gives me really good sort of autonomy to do what I think is the right thing. I will still go to him and say, hey, I'm thinking this, what do you think? But for the most part, he'll say, I think that's a good idea, let's run with it. But the leaderboards, the tournaments environment, thank you, Minerva, that's very nice of you. Perfect drafts, like when perfect drafts first came up, we didn't explore it as much because it's a very big undertaking to figure out formats and all that stuff. And I've sat there so many times. I spend so much time on an area of the game that is a free to play area of the game. You don't have to spend anything to play perfect draft. All you have to do is sign up, and you can pick from an array of cards you don't even have. And you can experience those cards. And I try to do it in a way that's so much different that it gives everyone a different type of experience that makes you want to just come back for more and try that high heat tournament, try that nearly perfect, hopefully a perfecto coming soon. Just try these things that gives you a chance to experience cards you either don't have an interest in getting, or just want to experiment with. And that to me is being able to do that and seeing people happy and enjoying it. And when I see the engagement that we've had now in December, it just makes me feel so great because I love this game, and I know everyone else does too. And to see them continue to play it this time of year when we've got Christmas trees up and menorahs being lit, and this is great. I love it, and I want to do this job for as long as I can. It very nearly almost ended. I will say that, not because of OOTP, but because I was being pursued for something else. But I really like it here, and Rich is phenomenal. I love working with Paul. Paul Sporer is a baseball genius. He knows everything. I mean, he knows I can name a guy and he will know profile, what a card should look like. Having Paul around has changed so much of what PT is, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with for 25. And that connection that we've been able to foster, and it really is going to take this game to another level for the players.
All right. Well, we got one last break here, and then I know we have to go and do some dad duty soon. So we're going to keep you around for about another 10 minutes here, Nicolino. When we get back from the break, I'm going to ask you how you felt you've made the mark on the game since you've come in, what you're most proud of in terms of introducing, and maybe a little peek ahead without, giving us things you can't talk about, but any kind of glimpse into the future for where you see this game going. So we'll be back in 2 minutes' time. All right, we are back here with Nicolino for one more short segment. Then he's got to run and do some dad duties here, and we won't get to the bounty draft right now, Nicolino, because I know you have to run soon, and I have a couple more questions for you. But
this is more fun than just jumping into a draft. Let's just talk.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I can't say enough, Lap, about how much I enjoy your streams and just being able to talk to you here today. And EVC and you and Dr. Dynastic and so many of our affiliates. I really do appreciate all the work you guys do. I mean, I've tried streaming in the past. When I played Tecmo Super Bowl, we would stream our game so that your opponents could see. I don't know how you guys do all the bells and whistles, because I would literally just have like a blue screen I created in Paint just so I had a background so people wouldn't see my desktop.
Well, it again, as a retired teacher, I'm used to a little bit of tech, but it was a kind of a steep learning curve, and I have other affiliates: EVC, Gorgo 2005, Nersha Benko, Tetsuiji, Yukaran Kazami. You know, there are so many, like, and everyone has their own way of doing things, and all creative, unique ways of doing things. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. All right. One thing you mentioned earlier is you want people to have fun with the game. You want to come up with new ways of creating that fun atmosphere. One thing that you've been able to do and the team's been able to do is do these refresh tournaments. And I am so honored that there is a tournament named after me or my stream, and my community is really getting into these and the bounty tournaments that we play. And to even add to the fun, I had a community member, D. Dempsey, create me a spreadsheet because I'm not really good at creating them. I don't know what I'm doing. And every laptop daily lower level leisure lounge tournament, I'm entering every one, and there's 64 teams. We're tracking who finishes in the top 4, and we're kind of keeping a running leaderboard. And at the end of each month, I'm going to give away some packs to whoever does the best, kind of like a perfect team where you have a monthly leaderboard. We're doing that with this tournament. And it's not without you and your team that are willing to do that for the community and listen to input. And you guys are great. Spore is great. You're great. Rich is great. People are great at listening to different ideas. They don't all get implemented. You can't implement them all. But I'm just having a ball with this laptop pound tournament, and I've even finished 4th in one of them. So I'm on the leaderboard. I've got 1 point. So thank you for continuing to add excitement and new challenges to the game. Speak a little bit to that aspect.
Well, and thanks for the kind words, Lap. I mean, it's the tournament area and the perfect draft area where we can make that was an area where I noticed early on we can make the biggest impact, because league structure is going to be the same league structure every week, right? It's promotion, relegation. Now, there have been some changes to the league structure, and there is some change weekly over how many teams get relegated, how many teams get promoted, and that's due to the number of teams and keeping a certain balance. Now, that's something I set every Monday morning. I make sure that there is this sort of pyramid structure that keeps a certain flow. We have to keep a certain number of teams at in Perfect League, right? So that means there has to be 24 Diamond League teams, or Diamond Leagues, in order to create that structure. So that's always going to be somewhat static. Whereas when it comes to tournaments and perfect drafts, I can sort of lean on the community a bit, get some feedback here. What do you guys want to see? What are some things you want to try to experience? And then I can look at my own creativity, and I can then look at, as we go, especially as more content comes out, as Spore puts out more and more content, I can slice the deck a little differently, and I can create different types of formats. And then you throw in the stadiums that we added this year. Being able to add the stadium aspect to it could change roster builds. I hear from the community constantly that they love building rosters, not an overwhelming number of rosters. They don't want it to be sort of like the refresh we had earlier. That may have been a bit overwhelming. So I'm trying to scale it back, doing some changes without it being sort of a complete overhaul. So I'm trying to do things in a stable way that brings it some fun, some differences, some freshness to it. I try to do things while looking ahead. For example, the Live Plus format. That was something that Matt Arnold created last year. Now, what I was hoping to do was to bring that in at some point this year, because that now incorporates, any card dated 2023. So Future Legends, but now PT Elite comes into the picture. So knowing PT Elite was on the board coming, I was like, now's the time to get that in there, because that tournament is going to look different on a near weekly basis as content is coming out. So that tournament's going to be a lot of fun for people. Any of those formats are going to be a lot of fun for people. And ran that test with one of the pop-ups. The pop-ups to me this year are my favorite, because I wanted to do them for fun and throw them out there and let people experience some fun formats. But I was not expecting such an overwhelmingly positive experience. People really loved them and gravitated to them. It was a way for us to use the entry fee aspect. We did a nominal entry fee, just to this way it wouldn't tie up people's rosters, tournament spots. So that was big. The PTCS qualification format, that may look different if you want to talk about something for 25. I plan on that being different next year. It's not going to be the same thing. It will be different. Every year, I want it to have a different type of twist to it. So it's not just the same game and copy and paste it over every year. I want some differentiation. I want people to try something different, do something different. The game is going to continue to, I always say this, the game will continue to evolve every year. And if I can have a say in how the game is going to evolve from a tournament and perfect draft and competitive aspect, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it look different. So there will be standings. There may not be as many standings. That's one.
Okay.
There may be more, but I may pull it back. But I may also do it in a way where qualifying for the PTCS is going to mean something. Qualifying for the PTMS is going to mean something. I want casual folks, I want free-to-play folks to have a chance. I want everyone to sort of have this opportunity to compete for some of the best cards in the game that Paul is putting in as the PTCS and PTMS rewards. I want everyone to have a shot at these things. And that's why this year I took the PTMS and split it into two. Last year it was one. If you remember, perfect draft teams and tournament teams were put into one PTMS. And 64 teams qualify for the PTMS. And I wanted to break that up this year because I wanted this. There are two different environments, so I wanted to sort of, in a sense, be fair and give everyone a shot. Because instead of having instead of one Pedro Martinez, now there's two. So maybe the team that wins perfect draft is a free-to-play team that wants to sell that card on and build a team off of the points made off that card. So just trying different ideas, different strategies, and I'm doing my best to try to keep that environment fun and refreshing and sort of like living. I think of it as like its own ecosystem to kind of like keep breathing life to it. And the fact that these things are filling at incredible rates, to the point where we have more tournaments now than we've had in previous iterations of the game. We have more daily tournaments. You have some categories that have 5 tournaments, some with 4. I had to add iron, bronze, silver, and gold to try to appease people who are trying to play at those levels. And why not? Let's do it. Let people play. Let people enjoy themselves. And it's wonderful to see that type of growth.
I love it. I love it. All right. 2 quick questions. I know you got to get in the car here. First one
I'm good, Lab. I got 10 more minutes.
Okay. First question is, when is that for you and your team, the transition from, 100% into OOTP24 into going into 25? Has that started already, that process?
Yeah.
Are you starting?
Yeah, yes. It started. The process has started. The developers have been working on 25 for a while now. So that's been going on for a while. My focus is more on giving them ideas for what I need on the perfect team side of things. And a lot of those things have been, whether it's through feedback, I keep sort of running lists of what I want to do, different ideas as I come up with an idea. And Sporer will tell you, there are many times where I message him in the middle of the night, hey, what do you think of this? And that's just the contents idea. So there's constantly thinking of things, thinking of different ways. People make suggestions, tournament sandbox, things like that. So those ideas are on the board, and it's a matter of, can things be implemented?
Okay.
So the team on the development side, they've been working on 25 for a while now.
Okay. And your team and your vision going towards the future, is there any little nugget of information or how you would like to bring anything that you can inform the community about that's not top secret?
This is a big year as a 25th anniversary of the game, and we want to make this really memorable. We want to do something even in PT, even though PT is not 25 years old, but PT is already building history, and it's built a wonderful community. It has built a wonderful catalog of cards that everyone got to experience during Thanksgiving and the American Thanksgiving break with the stream that we put on. We'll be doing that again around Christmas and New Year's time. I would say look out for man, what can I say? Look, I'm trying to think, Paul. What can I tell them? I would say look out for new ways to play. Look out for feedback we've gotten from the community and try to implement it. And look for us to celebrate as much as we can the history of PT and OOTP. We've tried to do some things. The BBREF cards were one way. We tried to celebrate some players through OOTP history, Seth Beer, things like that. But we're always looking for ways to kind of put our game, look, I love that people in the community love us and they speak nicely about us, but this is about the game, and we want to celebrate the game and what Marcus has accomplished for 25 years. The idea that a game at this level can last this long and has the attention of people in Major League Baseball, of agents around the sport, around people like Sporer and involved and who knew this, people like Scott Braun, the people who know what we do, and the people we hear from. I'm proud to say that thankfully with my involvement, Rich can go out and sign so many of the deals that he's been able to sign in having relationships with Jackie Robinson and Lou Gehrig and all these different organizations that allow us to put real images on the cards. That type of stuff takes it to another level, and we want to continue to do that because it's putting the game forward and celebrating the history of OOTP and Perfect Team.
Oh, looking forward. The hype has started for 25 already. If people have suggestions and they want to reach out or give you some ideas, what's the best way to reach you? Is it Discord, the forums, DM? How do people get a hold of you?
Okay, Discord, always DM me, because if you put something in a main channel, it may get lost. I may not see it, and it may get pushed up, and I may not just get lost in the mix. You can DM me on Discord, absolutely. If you're on the forums, PM me on the forums. I'm there as well. If you want to email me, it's nicolino@ootpdevelopments.com. I have a few people who email me there. Those are sort of the three avenues to kind of get a hold of me if you have ideas, feedback, or something you'd like to see. I know a lot of times I'm getting stuff through Dish. People go through Dish, people go through Score. But we're out here looking for things. I'm always kind of looking at Discord, seeing what people are talking about and seeing if there's certain things that they like, don't like, or different suggestions. But if you want to get a hold of me, those are the ways to reach out. And just please be patient, because I may not be able to get to you for a day or two, but I will get back to you.
Excellent. And I never did ask, have you ever been to Canada, Western Canada?
I've not been to Western Canada. I've wanted to so bad do the Western Canada hockey circuit. And I've always wanted to go to Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Vancouver. I've always wanted to do that. I came very close to going to see the Rangers play Winnipeg after the Jets came back when they relocated from Atlanta. I was very close to doing that, but I just couldn't. I didn't pull the trigger on it. I didn't do it. But I've always wanted to do that. My wife she's been out to Vancouver and she loves it out there. She says it's just God's country. So I could see that in our future. That's for sure. But I've always wanted to, it's funny. I moved to Chicago. One of the things I wanted to experience was the extreme weather. And I would love to see what that extreme weather is like in your neck of the woods. That's for sure. Because it's even colder. up
Yeah,
there.
you don't want to come in January. Just book off January, February, and leave that. Well, Nicolino, thank you so much. I want to respect your time. I know you have things that you have to take care of. The man that brings you the tournament cutting memes on Discord. Thank you so much for being on the show today. So much more we could talk. We could talk another couple hours. I just love listening to the story and anything about OOTP. So have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Keep on working hard. Thank you for everything you do for my community, for the affiliate community, for OOTP, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Lap, and thanks to everyone for listening to me babble on here about various things. I really enjoyed this, and if you ever want to chat again, just let me know.
Absolutely. All right, Nicolino on the show. Like I said, I've been working to try and get Nicolino on and talk OOTP for a while, and I just if I could just interview people all the time, that would be what I would love to. I love listening. I love hearing stories and how they got involved in the game, just like with you guys in the community. How did you get into OOTP? When did you start playing? What are your favorite things? What would you like to see done in OOTP? I don't know. That's just me. I just love hearing the stories behind the players that play this game, and a little bit of insight into OOTP25. And sounds like it's going to be a celebratory year. And I'm thinking we're going to see maybe a nice gold OOTP instead of the green one we have here. We got to see something, right? We got to see something like platinum or something shiny for OOTP 25 to celebrate that. I know with OOTP 20, it was XX. So kind of that Super Bowl Roman numeral logo. Maybe we see XXV or something for 25. All right, guys, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, we will do the bounty, and we will also give away some packs. Let's start that giveaway now. Exclamation ticket, exclamation enter. Let's run that during the break. Back in 1 minute time. All right, back here. What a great interview. Great listening to Nicolino there. Again, if you want to reach out, you can get a hold of him through his email at OOTP, Nicolino on Discord, Nicolino on the forums. You can find him, easy to track down. Send him some requests you might have either for this year or next year's version of the game. And again, just like Spore, looking for requests for community-based cards. And I sent that list off to him last night with the updates on that. And again, it's so refreshing and great to see a company that listens to ideas and, does their best. They're still a really small company, but listening to ideas and trying to incorporate some of the things we want to see in the game, and can't wait until OOTP25 comes out. But hey, we're still playing OOTP24. Let's have some fun with that. Let's close off this entry here. Rojo Vancouver was the winner of the last little contest, guessing Mookie Betts, or not Mookie Betts, Mookie Wilson as the favorite player for Nicolino. We didn't get to talk about his other favorites from other sports, but he did mention Mark Messier was his favorite hockey player of all time, or non-baseball athlete. I asked him, who is your favorite non-baseball athlete? And it was Mark Messier. And sorry, Nicolino, but I got to represent, I don't want to get in trouble with Rich Grisham, so I got to put on the New Jersey Devils hat too. We're the Rangers jersey, and now we got to show some love to your rival there, New Jersey. And you're not on to fight back about the Devils. Some great, just like Edmonton, Calgary, some great series that those two teams have had. All right, closing off the entry, and done. Our winner is Sean Soul 1010. Sean Soul 1010. There's a familiar name. Congratulations, Sean Soul. Again, we'll be giving away some packs a little bit later on. Let's close that one off. And let's go on to some other OOTP news. Of course, tomorrow, Spore is back with the Tuesday Treasure Trove chest of new cards, usually lower level cards, but he throws in a gold once in a while. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Maybe even see some of your community requested cards in that series tomorrow. And then on Thursday, Dish will be back with the new content. We don't know what the teaser is yet. That'll come out soon, and you can do your guessing on EVC's Guess the Set on Wednesday. And before Dish on Thursday, we have the Three Amigos show, where we hype up the new set. We talk about some of the possible cards. EVC gives us an update on your guesses, even Sporer's guesses for Guess the Set. And we do a 45-minute show, and we go into DishNet at that time. So looking forward to that this week. Congratulations on those that qualified and those that won some cards in the PTCS. As frustrating as it can be, I still enjoy the opportunity. I was in 4 of them, and I won 1 card. I did get the Tony Phillips card, I think it was, for just barely making that round. And it was quite the ride trying to get that card, because I went to game 7. If I win game 7, I get the card. If I lose, I get nothing. And game 7, Charlie Lee on the mound for the Dave Steeb Super 7 in the Iron PTCS. And Charlie Lee threw a gem. Yeah, you see that right. Charlie Lee threw a no-hitter against the Council Bluff Crash TBD. And that propelled us on to the next round and got us that Tony Phillips card. So no hitter for Charlie Lee in Iron. It's that kind of joy that gets me excited and wanting to open up OOTP every day. And I didn't just get one no-hitter. No-hitters don't have to happen often. Like, I don't know the last time I had a no-hitter in a tournament, a league play, but I didn't get one. I got a second no-hitter. And this one was in OOTP23. The system was down. If you play OOTP23, the playoffs got a really late start yesterday. They didn't start firing off until about 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern. And my Rocky Mountain Gladiators were in Diamond. And we progressed through the playoffs. And we got another no-hitter. We got a no-hitter over the LON. I can't remember what team that is, but This was the Lefty Grove, the limited edition Lefty Grove that ended up with a new no-hitter here. So he went 9 innings, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts through 100 pitches, and that propelled us, as you can see in the little comments up here in the little chat, into the World League Championship Series against Seawit and the Castroville Mashers in OOTP24 Diamond. And I didn't check this morning. I didn't have time. I know that he was up 3-2 when I went to bed last night. And that's a good team. It's a team that's been up to perfect level a lot in OOTP23. So I don't think I won. If I lose to Seawit, well, I know I'm losing to a guy that in that version of the game had the PTMS Jackie Robinson. He had another tournament card, I think Hugh, who's that outfielder that was out early last year? Hugh Duffy, I can't remember his last name, but it was a team that won some tournament cards early in the cycle, and he played them right up until the end and did very well with them. So congratulations, Seawit, if you happen to beat me in OOTP23 finals. Seawit beat you in the PTCS Diamond. Yeah, he shows up once in a while. You see that name. I don't think he's won a trophy this year, like Rojo Vancouver, Canadian. But yeah, he's always really competitive. All right, big shout out, as I always do on Monday, to the subscribers, to the followers from last week. You can see them here. Thank you guys for continuing your subscriptions and following this old Canadian streamer here. You see all the followers on the right-hand side from last week. Sometimes there's a few more, and then sometimes there's a few less. Cub fan Steve, my longest subscriber, 14 months, big fan. Cub fan Steve of the Cubs, always promoting them, loves Ron Santo as a player, Billy Williams, just, that 1960s, 70s kind of Cubs team. Wildcat Bandit from Oklahoma, Oklahoma State University, got the mascot on here as an emote. Ezra Denny, of course, one of our affiliates, 5 nights a week at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Ezra Denny. Barry Basher 11, Gravestock 23, Lord Christic, who had my number in tournaments last week, Tiger Cub 366, and a couple wonderful community members. Both I've had on my show before. Chess Safari, who was on last week talking about the ELO rating system, and Boiled Egg 1974, who was on the Franchise Hockey Manager stream last week talking about that game. So thank you to my community. Thank you to the subscribers. And today I saw Rick Rock 00. Thank you for the Prime subscription. Dark Horse 414 with the 3-monther, and EVC and NYC, my second longest subscriber with the 13 months. So through the next ad breaks today and tomorrow, a little bit of celebration for those subscribers and users. Just something I put together for you during the commercial break. So stay tuned for that. Also, a couple new emotes. I am a man that when I make a bet, I live up to my bet. And first of all, last week I introduced the new Corey Seager emote. So there's a Corey Seager emote. And right now, let me do this right now on the fly. If you're a subscriber, I just added the Shohei Ohtani There he is, Shohei Ohtani. Someone in chat tried to use that one, see if it worked out. Because EVC came on stream for, was it Friday night, late Friday night? And, EVC had a few beverages. Let's just say that. He had a few beverages and he wasn't as coherent as usual. And it was before Ohtani had made his decision. I was pretty confident based on rumors that he was going to Toronto. So I made a bet with him and said, tell you what, EBC, if he goes to the Dodgers, I have to make a Ohtani emote for my channel with the Dodgers cap. And if he goes to Toronto, you have to make one for yours. Foolish bet. I know, Lap. If I could rewind the clock, I was trying to take an advantage of a slightly inebriated EVC and his Margarita Friday, and it didn't work. So EVC, there you go. There is the bet paid off. I am a gentleman and I honor my bets. We'll get you back sometime. We'll get you back. But yeah, the Ohtani signing, when you think about it, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. He probably I think he had LA targeted the whole time. There's no way Toronto could come up with $700 million, even if it is mainly deferred. I think Ohtani wanted to go to LA Dodgers the whole time, and the Blue Jays were probably used for a little bit of leverage, to be honest, because the Dodgers reported that they heard the rumors that he was going to Toronto, and they got a little bit concerned. And so at that point, I guess they put in their offer, and their offer was pretty big, as you saw, $700 million, a lot of it deferred. Yeah. I think that's enough I'm going to say about Ohtani. That's enough. There's still some bitterness up here in Canada. All right, let's fire off this bounty, guys, because I always enjoy losing to you guys in the bounties. We are going to play I think it's Dead Ball to Rebirth. Let me just check here. Dead Ball to Golden Years. So Dead Ball to Golden Years, it is ID number, where is it here? ID number 239. 239. So if you want to try and knock off the Hound, get involved in the Perfect Draft Dead Ball to Golden Years 239. If you knock me out of the tournament, only 5 packs in this one today for knocking me out. So I'm not going to give you extra packs for winning the tournament. You'll get just the in-game packs. But 5 packs if you're able to knock me out if you come up against me. No rules. I didn't come up with a deal or no deal. Just draft whoever you want. You have to declare in chat that you're in, like the Wayfinders, like the Red Shirts, like the Rangers. Declare that you're in and try to take down the Hound. Maybe tomorrow we'll do a deal or no deal, but today, whoever you want. And I think Monty Ward or Bob Carruthers, because there's no DH. Remember, there's no DH. So do we go Ward or Carruthers? That is the question. I think we have to still go Monty Ward, don't we? I think so. Blue Hornets are in. No restrictions, Warbot. Nope, not on this one. I want to get this one fired off as soon as possible. It is Dead Ball to Rebirth, 1930, with a slight edge to the home runs. So BABIP is a little bit suppressed. Home runs are boosted. Okay, how about a little bit of Carl Glass or Biz Mackey? Ooh, I think I'm going to go with Biz Mackey. Hope for some good gold pitchers. Seeing none, let's go Brazel and Law. Or do we want Goose? Want a little bit of Goose in our life? Yeah, let's go a little bit of Goose. Okay, Robin Roberts. Where are you, Mr. Boom Boom Beck? Come on, Lady Baldwin. All right, I did not get Lady Baldwin or Boom Boom Beck. Let us know who your perfect team, perfect card was as well. You saw that I took Monty Ward. Marion and I guess White. Or do I want the second baseman? And there's some good NEL gold cards. Ooh, let's go with Jimenez and White. There's Boom Boom, the wrong one though. I want the gold one and a little bit of Eddie Juiced. And if you're new to Out of the Park Developments, if you're new to the stream, we do these bounty tournaments where 16 teams knock me out of the bounty and get 5 additional packs for knocking me out. Congratulations to Warbot for not winning 1 PTCS, but winning 2. What a treasure trove of riches. Winning a couple Tom Seaver and a couple Mel Otts. Wanted that Mel Otts, like most people did. Also to Sporer, who streamed a lot of the PTCS because he had a couple teams that went pretty far. I think he lost the final. I think he did get a Mel Ott. And then I think he lost Sporer. Was it in the semifinals? Yeah, semifinals of Diamond, and then you lost in the finals of Bronze? No, Iron, I think. String Bean Williams, one of the best names in the game. And for Dugout, for D Block, we got to draft Connie Rector. All right, I got my 9 pitchers. Let's focus elsewhere. Hack and Chet and Bill. In 1930s environment, so there are home runs. It's not dead ball, although there will be some dead ball players to choose from. All right, I think we are set. No restriction. May the best team win, or may the best RGN take the tournament. So let's go with Ward, Houston, and Roberts. Vern Law, you can be a specialist because you're splitty. Squell, go middle relief. And we don't need long relievers. They're going to pitch most of the game anyway. These guys get a lot of innings. Unless you use the Warbot 60-18. 18 batters faced approach, which I'm not going to lie. I have been accused. I have used that before. Let's knock these down. Let's kind of play around with this. Maximum. Bring us that blue. We will be going to EVC. Maybe, what time is it? 12:30? Oh, yeah, we should be done in an hour and head over to EVC. We will talk online leagues as well. We'll take a look at PBE. We'll take a look at the EMLB. And, of course, we'll pick 1 or 2 of you guys to help me with the theme team because they are in SOS mode right now. Help me, please, with my Hound Wheel of Destiny theme team. Dave Steve's doing okay. It's the community one that's really, really bothering me. Like a sinking ship. All right, who did you guys get? Someone got GT got the perfect glue. Jeff Steele Flex went with, oh, Jeff, come on now. Come on, that's a little over the top, isn't it? Getting Oscar Charleston. Good for you. K-Line, another great pick for Monterre Don. Gaba only had 7 outfielders. That'd be a good one. You can only take outfielders as your batter. They have to have outfield eligibility. Are there any catchers that play outfield? I wonder. Someone Google that for me. In perfect team, are there any catchers that have, or any outfielders that have catcher eligibility? There can't be many. We got a Dolph. Oh, come on, Gaba. It's a new week. It's a new week. It's a new month. That's what Dick Shot used to say all the time, too. And he used to always beat me. And then that streak came to an end. Lord Christic came to an end. So eventually the Gabagoo Luigi over laptop has to come to an end, too. Although I am out of the laptop daily again. Out of the laptop daily. Who took me out this time? Where are you? Who can I throw some negativity towards? Where's my team? Come on, Gliders. There we in 7 games, I lose to the Axes. The Wabanaki Passamaquoddy in game 7. Come on now. They win 3 in a row to knock me out. See, I can't micromanage because I was talking to Nicolino. And it went 8-7 in the final game. Willie Wood. I'm going to change your name to Willie Would Not. Willie Could Not. Willie Wood gives up the final run. Oof. Really, he did pull a bonzer on that one. Holy smokes, Boof. 7 earned runs? Last time I'm taking you in that tournament. Yikes. So we're on to round 3 of the daily. The Mounties, man, the Mounties, you're good at this, Rojo. I'm telling you, Rojo, whatever kind of week you're having, I hope it continues for your sake because you won the trophy yesterday. I don't know if you did anything in the PTCS. You're winning the laptop dailies or doing well in them. So we got D Dempsey, we got the Hoosman, we got Sean Saul still alive. We got Rojo. We got Rich Rock still in there. Just looking for names that I see every day. So, all right. You don't have to worry about facing me. So the bounty is full. We'll get back to that and take a look at the matchups once that fires off. Let's go through a few more things from the last week. Okay, where do I want to go now? Let's go to... let's talk about how my teams did last week. Overall, over 500 record when you put all 4 teams together. And Gorgo, I don't know if you're in the chat, Gorgo, but everyone gives some love to Gorgo. Gorgo and I were in the same same gold division. And I beat him in the regular season by, I think, like 5 or 6 games. We met up in the DS, the divisional series, and Gorgo beat me 4 games to 2. I think it was 4-2. So congratulations to Gorgo 2005, still playing the heck out of this game. And Gorgo went on to the conference final, and then he went on to the final. And if you follow Gorgo in the Discord, Gorgo won this gold league. Congratulations, Gorgo 2005, for winning gold and moving up to diamond. Love to see it. Gorgo just loves this game so much, plays this game so much, promotes the game so much. So good to see Gorgo advance. The Jim Unknown Blue Jays, they made the playoffs, but they lost in the wild card, so they will stay in gold. Dave Super 7, the theme team lost in the wild card, and I think the team that beat me in the wild card took it all. I think. You have to tune into EBC later, but I think that team won that gold league. And then the Wheel of Destiny. Ever since EVC came on and picked my players, we have been in a free-for-all. In the last 2 weeks, we've gone 112 wins and 221 losses. Yeah. So guys, later on, let's reverse that. Let's get out of the funk. We are back in silver with the Wheel of Destiny team. Time to make some magic happen with that team there. So that's how my teams did. There's Gorgo's playoff tree there. Yeah, he did beat me 3 games to 1, I guess, in the DS, right? That's only a best of 5. Then he won 4-1, and then he won over the Nuts. Yeah, he beat the Nuts 4 games to 2. I did show you last week that I won a perfect choice pack and that Arietta card, which at one time was selling for over 800,000. But then the market dropped on him, maybe because there's more in circulation. I don't know. But I decided to sell them, and I think I sold them on the weekend for 460. I think, yeah. I put them up eventually on the weekend and sold them for about 460. So within a week, Arietta went from selling for about 800,000 to down to about 460,000. So if you do pull one, if you do grab them and you're not going to use them, probably sell them soon because his value is probably going to keep going down. Still one of the great pitchers in the game. I think Charles would say he's probably still a top 5 pitcher definitely in many formats. But I decided to sell him and use those points for other things. All right. The online league report coming up next. Finish drafting your teams in the bounty. We'll be back in 2 minutes to talk about PBE and EMLB. See you in 2. All right, let's go and check the bounty matchups. The bounty has fired off, so first sim will come in just over 10 minutes' time. Let's find out who has the privilege of taking on the Hound, or more like, who gets 5 packs. We got the Dugout taking on the Gabagoo Luigi 69ers. We've got Asheville Boomsticks and Ezra Denny's Redshirt. Oh, let's check. Does he have 26 players? Ezra, do you have 26 players? Let's check. Ezra's red shirts. Yeah. Okay, good. Good news. The red shirts are currently alive. We've got the Blue Hornets run by Fire and Ore. Seeing them a lot in tournaments. Good to see Fire and Ore taking on Rue Jerry's Athens team, and I'm here at the bottom taking on Gives No Ducks. That sounds like a Joe Buck Yourself kind of team. I've never seen that name before. Gives No Ducks. We've got EV's Baseball. Monterre Don taking on Jeff Steele Flex and his Oscar Charleston-led Wayfinders. The Washington Park Rangers, led by Tip O'Neill with their perfect pick. They are taking on the Krabby Ball Players. The Krabby Ball Players looks like they got who is their perfect pick? Jackie Robinson as their perfect pick. We've got GT Sundown, Mile High Mayhem with the perfect Lou. They are going up against the Phoenix or the Reykjavik Phoenix by Punk. Oh, you're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. Synchronicity. Every stream, there's something that happens that I just shake my head and how does this happen? My two online league managers. We're just about to go into the online league report. And what do I see? My two online league managers are facing each other in round one. I can't root for any of you guys because it would be favoritism. I guess whoever promotes me to the majors first, I have to root for. We got GT Sundown, my Expos manager, taking on my Brew City Bears manager in Punk. And then we've got Fussmucker and his George Carlin team. Who was your perfect pick? Looks like Sam Crawford. No, Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth. Okay, you got the Babe. I like it. Going up against Warbots. Honest? No. Well, look at that. We got the two babes playing each other. And I don't mean you guys personally. Like, nothing against you. I'm sure you're attractive individuals. But when I say the two babes going against each other, just so you know, I'm talking about the player. Yeah. I don't want any mixed messages here. Wow, that side of the bracket, other than Gabagoo Luigi kind of intimidating me over here on the left, I feel okay. I feel like maybe I have a shot of advancing around or winning a game. We will find out. Oh, better do this quick. I'm only going a two-man rotation. We're going to put Robin Roberts as my other stopper. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have showed that on screen because maybe my opposition's going to do that. Philadelphia, what do you got? Oh, you got a 5-man rotation and you drafted 13 pitchers. Interesting strategy for 1930. Going with 13 pitchers. I'm wondering if there's someone that's not in the stream. I don't recognize Give No Ducks. Okay, so they went a little light on the batters, but they do have the immortal Joe DiMaggio. Okay, dokey. Wait for that to fire off. These are best of 3, so best of 3. Not a long series. Okay, let's go to the online league reports. Let's start off with the EMLB. And my player is in a funk. Where is he? Playing for Wichita in Double-A. Glenn the Hound Streamer. Still has a lot of potential, but he is not quite reaching that potential. Known more for his glove as an infielder. He's got a lot of good range, a good arm. He can turn those double plays, mainly a second baseman. He's got high leadership capability and a really strong work ethic. I love those two personality traits. But right now he's playing for the second place team, Wichita Wind Surge. Only has a 230 average, but a positive WAR and 7 home runs. So unfortunately, he's playing in a ballpark that suits lefties more than righties. And when I built this player, I focused on kind of the right-handedness. Actually, the fact that he was right-handed, I focused on him doing better against the lefties. But unfortunately, Montreal, until you get up to their major league team, the ballparks kind of favor the other side of the plate. So that's kind of limiting him a little bit. If I had known that, if I had done my research, I would have built him a little bit differently. So hopefully he will, once he gets up to the majors at some point, that'll work in his favor. Okay. PBE and the Brew City Bears. Go Bears. Hound Streamer, again, Gold Glove winning Hound Streamer is off to a pretty good start with the Brew City Bears. They are sitting right now in third place, kind of having some problems in Brew City. Not out of it, but kind of off to a slow start. We're going to get things together. We've got Hound Streamer, who is a third baseman. There he is. Currently hitting .290. Positive WAR, a couple stolen bases, 13 RBIs, and he's built kind of as an all-around kind of player now, focused on his defense with that third base arm, and now just starting to put some attributes into his power, contact, and eye. So focusing on power, contact, and eye. So kind of shocking. He only has 2 home runs so far. I thought with that power over 50 now, he would be on the pace for a little bit more. There's a lot of yellow in those ratings. Yes, there is. Only my third year in the league. I think, Punk, if you're still in the chat, I think with the points I've accumulated, I think I'm kind of average for the build now, maybe a little bit above average. I think I've got almost 300 TPE points, which they use as their currency into the league. So he will improve. Again, it's just the minor leagues right now. If we go to my fellow teammate, Wildcat Bandit, Rhino Legs, man, he's on an MVP type of season. And look, he's got a lot of Rob Deere and headlights. He's got a lot of yellow and orange too. So when you look at our 2 players, Hound Streamer, 40s, mid 40s, 50s, and Rhino Leg is a lot lower for his overall ratings. But he's hitting 347. He's got 9 dingers, 21 RBIs, 21 stolen bases. Definitely. Look at this. Look at this hit streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 game, at least 10 game hit streak right now. So Wildcat Bandit, almost a 2 WAR, and I think he's done well defensively. Let's see. What's his WAR like? Zone rating. What's it like here? 2060. Yeah, he's got a positive zone rating. He had a 20-game hit streak stopped by those nasty steeds from State College. O's Bones, I don't know if you were pitching that game, but apparently your team stopped his 20-game hit streak. And he also won Player of the Week award this year. So Wildcat Bandit, who I think found PBE through my streams, Wildcat, if I'm correct, that's kind of what took you over to PBE, was me promoting it when Punk and Lord Parquad came on a couple times. So you're having a good old time. Age 22, so he's a year older than me. I'm 21 right now. He was created a year before I created my player. So right now we're hitting number 1 and 2 in the lineup. And Rhino Leg, look on the leaderboard, leading in average, leading in home runs, tied for second in RBIs. Yeah, looking pretty good. Let's check out some of these other teams. I know some of you play on Florida. And I didn't see you, Jeff Steelflex. Did you get promoted this year? You might have mentioned that to me before, but are you in the big leagues now? Because I don't see you on Florida anymore. You got promoted to New Orleans. Well, congratulations. There's a player named Bald Hair. Huh. Interesting. So I know Dizzy Stoner is Sav 510's player. So he's right now 2-2 record, positive WAR, 40s innings pitched. But I'm not familiar with any other Florida players from our community here. So let's go and check out another team here. I saw someone mention the Ranas. Dynamic. Who are you? I know I should know this. But I think are you Tex Justice? No. Where is Dynamics player? Big Hurt. Big Hurt. Oh, you're a catcher. Holy smokes, Dynamic. Big Hurt Thomas, 20-year-old, has a 300 average, and your ratings are very similar to mine. Except I got more Avoid K and I, but I'm 1 year older than you as well. So you're hitting 300. Yeah, that's strikeout. You've struck out 16 times, 1 home run, 16 RBIs, but I'd say that's a pretty good start for the Ranas. Look at that. You are third in average. You are fourth in RBI. So that's pretty good as a rookie. I think this is your rookie year. Who else in chat has a player here? Oh, we've got, of course, D-Block. D-Block is a pitcher with the Steeds. Where is O's Bones? O's Bones with a 2-4 record. Slightly high ERA there, O's Bones. You're getting the ratings up a little bit. Circle change, knuckle curve. So you're going with that unusual off-speed pitching technique. Still got a fastball there. And I think this is your second year in the league. Yeah, this is Wildcats' fourth year, my third year, your second year, and Dynamics' second season. You told them to draft. Who did you tell them to draft? Oh, you told them. Who did you tell to draft? I'm missing some things in the chat here. D-Block, you told them to draft you on the Steeds? That's not very flamingo supportive. Weren't you a flamingo? I must be missing something there. Okay, let's go and check out. Let's just check out how Jeff Steele Flex is doing on New Orleans. New Orleans. Oh, 9-18. Not off to a fantastic start, are you? There he is. 240 average. Ooh, 31 strikeouts. Got to work on that. I and Avoid K, I guess. Yeah. You're not a big fan of the gap either. Neither am I. I never like going shopping there, and I don't like adding it to my player. Not a big fan of the gap. Wow, look at that range. Your zone rating must be fantastic. Ooh. Not very good in the majors, minus 4.1. So you're telling me that these defensive attributes, range errors, arm, that kind of defense gets you a minus 4.1? Holy smokes, what do those numbers have to be? In the minors, you were like 13.5. That's a little bit shocking. Andy, 22 from Sheffield in the house. Thank you, Andy, for re-upping that 1 month away from a year. Oh, 11 months for Andy from Sheffield. Hope things are going well there. Hope you're not under a lot of snow. And of course, we have the Armadillos, Chess Safari, who created a player just this year. He's a rookie right now, hitting 302. Let me refresh that. Is he hitting 302? Yes, he is hitting 302. 3 home runs, 17 RBIs for Tedford Woofington Jr. He's gonna be a player. I know Chess Safari, when he builds his player, he builds them good. He does. He's like a good farm boy. He's going to be strong. He's going to be competitive. We're going to see this name a lot in the league. So congratulations. Hope your players continue to do well. Again, our rival, Florida and the Flamingos, they are currently in third place, 15 and 12, and we are under 500. Whoa, what went on with my screen there? Woo. We just had a blackout. All right. State College Swift Steeds. We got the Florida Flamingos. Here are the power rankings right now in the major leagues. I was drafted by Vancouver, and as you can see, you need help. Sorry, Vancouver. Even Rojo's not there to help you out. 16th overall. Ouch. If you do want to get involved, if you want to create your own player, the guy you want to approach and talk to is Punk or anyone from the PBE. They can help you out and get you on the path to being part of the PBE sim. Maybe we see a Rob Deere. Maybe we see another player from our community here. All right, guys, my screen is all wonky here. So I'm going to take my 2-minute break now. It was supposed to come up in 2 minutes, but let's take it now. Back in 2 minutes. I got to fix some things. All right, we are back. I think I have my tech issues figured out here. Just had to refresh a few things. And for those of you that have like 2 monitors or more than 2 monitors, I don't know if this happens to you. Again, I'm not a techie guy like many of you, but sometimes my monitors, if they don't have the same resolution, they like flash black and then they try to sync up again or something like that. But because they're on different resolutions, it goes off and comes back on. But I can't put them all to the same resolution because each have a different maximum resolution. So I'd have to put them all to the lowest setting. If that's the issue, I don't know. I don't know if that's the issue. But anyway, it seems to be okay for now. We've got about a half hour before we raid over to EVC. So we're going to work on the theme team. You guys help me out. Help me out because I'm in silver right now. Help me out. Sometimes Discord interferes with the settings correctly too. Yeah, it could be. It could be. It's just a pain. It just flashes black for a few seconds and then they come back on. Or sometimes one of my screen won't show the web pages until I go into display and refresh it from the settings. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. All right, EVC. Yeah, I may need a little bit longer depending on how many players we have to replace. If you can stick around for the next half hour, enter to help me out on my theme team. And for entering and helping me out, I will give you 5 packs. I might use 1 person, I might use 2 people, but you have to be here for the next half hour. Do not enter if you have to leave in the next couple minutes because I just have to draw someone else. So let's go and figure out, first of all, how many players I get to switch off the team. I'm hoping for a big number today because I need help. All right, Alex Ovechkin from the Washington Capitals. Yeah, I know D block, get 2 that have the same resolution. The problem is that when I started streaming, I had 1 monitor. I just bought the cheapest one possible because I'm retired on an income, fixed income. I couldn't afford a $1,000 or $500 monitor, so I bought a cheapie. And then I upgraded and got a second one, little more expensive one that had higher resolution. And now that's causing an issue. All right, we are going to replace 5 players on our team. Eventually, someday, I'll get them all with the same resolution. And speaking of D block, I'm going big screen on this one. Community. Come on, you are a great community. I was watching D block on the weekend. He's got 47 followers. EVC, if you're in the chat, shout out D Block Dragon right now. Type that in because I'm doing other things. That's what I pay you the mod wage for. Go and follow D Block Dragon. He's got 47 followers. He's 3 away from reaching the milestone of 50, which allows him emotes, amongst other things. He's so close. You guys are such a great community to me and other affiliates. Let's go help this guy out. He's, lives off in Germany. He's on early in the mornings on Sunday. He's not an affiliate yet, but he's got some really good information and advice to pass your way about perfect teams. So go follow him and get him up to 50. So then all week he can work on some new emotes for his next stream. Don't cut the D Block Dragon. Sometime we'll hear the story behind that name. All right, let's go to card replacements. I think that's the one. Yeah, we want to go there. All right, 10 seconds if you're going to help me out with my theme team. Be prepared. It needs some work. It needs work. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we are closed off. Okay, my first assistant today is going to be there you go, Minerva. There you go. Hawk-Moon. Hawk, I think you've helped me out before. Hawk, are you in the chat? There you go. Oh, is it going to the wrong place? I just type in the whole name. I just use the exclamation SO. I hope it's going to an appropriate place. But yeah, if that's on my Nightbot, bad Nightbot, I got to fix you. All right, Hawkmoon, let's do some work. Before we determine how you're going to replace players, let me show you this pathetic community theme team. And by pathetic, I don't mean you guys. I mean their performance. Because look at this. I started doing the community aspect to it back in 2040 when I was in Stone. We've won a Stone championship. We won a bronze championship with your guys' help. We've made the playoffs, but the last few seasons, I've only made the playoffs 1 out of like 6 times. Before that, it was a great run. Last year, 61 and 100. Before that, 51 and 111. We're back down to silver. We went from diamond to gold to silver in 3 weeks. Please, let's not go down to bronze. Of course, we don't have a lot of the meta. The meta changes all the time, so that's going to be a big factor. People getting the Elite cards, people getting the Immortal cards have made a huge difference now in the lower levels. It used to just be diamond and perfect, but now we're starting to see those meta creep into the gold leagues. Gold is becoming tougher now. So Hawkmoon, here you see my pitching staff. Overall, I've got Jenkins, Steve. They stay on the team. They're fixtures. Spud Chandler, Rick Sutcliffe, Oral Hershiser. So I do have a couple good pieces. Brian Wilson, but definitely some of these gold and silver players we can get rid of if the opportunity arises. Looking at our hitters, Babe Ruth stays. We also have Johnny Mize, James Wood. I don't think I have any Immortals. Let's see. I got the Jose or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., James Wood. So again, I've got players that at one time were meta and top players to have, but it needs, oh yeah, I do have one Immortal. This guy here. Hitting 379 in silver as he should. So Hawkmoon, that's what you have to work with. Unfortunately, you're going to be at the mercy of the wheel in terms of players that you get to pick. So here we go. Let's go back to the wheel. All right. What kind of player pool are you going to have to choose from? Okay, Hawkmoon, you get to spend some of my perfect points and EVC get that smile off your face. Right now, EVC, I see you. I see you in New York City. Chuckling away. Lap has to spend money. Yes, and I think he gets a sub button when he hits 50, I think. So that's why let's get him up to 50. He's been on for over a month now. Come on. Dude, block needs to get some of these other features. Hawkmoon. Let's go and find an Elite player. Let me shrink this screen so I can see everything here. There we go. And we'll put in Elite. So you saw my team, Hawkmoon. I do not own any Elite players. None. If we go to my missions, the first Elite is I don't know, way down here somewhere, because we haven't opened a lot of packs here. So you got some shopping to do. What do we got? Who do you think might make, who's a good option for a fairly reasonable price that can make a difference? I'm thinking maybe a pitcher. We're kind of short on pitchers right now. Really good pitchers. Anyone Hawk Moon that you're familiar with? Definitely worth the investment, as Chess Safari is saying. I don't see any Logan Webbs here, though. Webb. So must not be. Let's show all of them. Yeah. That's probably why, Warbot, because there's none available. So he might be a good option if there was one. So these are the pitchers we have to choose from. Here are the hitters. Let's hide the ones that don't have sell orders. I mean, I've got 94,000. I prefer not to spend all 94,000 on one card because we may have to buy other players. Kyle Bradish. And the rest of chat is giving some opinion here. So now that you know what you have to do, let's go back to the team and take a quick look-see at the team again. Okay. Here's my pitching staff. Steve, Chandler, Hershiser, Jenkins, Sutcliffe. Bullpen definitely needs some work other than maybe Brian Wilson. Well, Billy Wagner, yeah, it needs work. Hitting wise, I don't have any really high end players. Babe Ruth, I guess, is the closest. Johnny Mize, James Wood, one immortal card, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. So it's not the worst of the worst, but it's not the best of the best. So everything needs some upgrading. All right, Hawk Moon. You said Bradish, right? Bradish. $25,000 to upgrade to this. Is $25,000 worth it to have him in the system? What is he going for? See, his last 10 is 15,000. So that's paying quite a bit extra for him. I mean, if you think that's the move, I'll go for it. If you think that's the move. Evan Carter is another great one, but he's really expensive. Of course, all the perfects are expensive. I mean, it might be cheaper. It might be cheaper. Let's go take a look. If you're thinking Bradish is Baltimore. We can go check the mission, and if it's cheaper to finish the mission. Oops. Where would he be? Bradish. So right now I've got 30 out of 46. So I need 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I need all of these, and it would probably cost 10, 15. It costs about 17,000. Right? 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 20, yeah, maybe 21,000. That's the case. Look what I need to see for Evans. Okay. I'm seeing some names in chat. Evans. So that would be, which Evans am I missing here? Did I spell his name wrong? Webb's a better card. Or Webb. Okay, let's look at Webb. I see a lot of people in chat going with the Webb here. So Logan Webb from the San Francisco Giants. Which is, again, pretty expensive if you want to buy him on his own. 28 out of 44. So again, 16 cards. Oh yeah, I think we go him. Give me the go ahead here and we can get that Webb for a lot less than 100K. Go. Chat, leave these players alone. Don't buy them. I'm buying all the expensive ones first. Okay, it's a race. We need a button here, buy all. Ooh, that one's expensive though. Estrada. Yeah, that was a good call there, guys. It was much cheaper to buy Logan Webb than to have to go after that other card. And it's San Francisco Giants, Ezra. So thanks to San Fran for having a cheap, but yet good card. GT Sundown said about 21,000. So 21,000, I think, is a fair price for Logan Webb. There we go. Logan Webb is in the house. Fortunately, did not have to buy any perfect cards there. Let's go back and claim him. Thank you. All right, who comes off the staff here, Hawkmoon? I'm thinking probably this guy here. The only silver card, but chat, if you see other names that should come off instead of AJ, feel free to suggest it. Kick the silver off. Okay. AJ done and Logan Webb is in. AJ, bye. My first Elite card. Where is he? Make sure it's him. There's that beautiful card art. Logan Webb is in. And submit. Okay, good. Let's go spin the wheel and see what you get to do next. All right, my choice of player owned, and I'm gonna just look at chat for a little bit here, taking someone off my inventory here. We're gonna take off the active cards. Let's hide the duplicates. My choice, but I'm gonna look to you guys. Who on my reserve roster should come in? Do you see any names here that might help the team? Scroll through a little bit as I switch screens. This is the Tops, Josh Hader. Give me some advice here, guys. Who on the, let's go with We did a pitcher. Let's look at batters. Anyone jump out at you there? The return of Connie Rector. No. That is a desperate move by desperate men. Manny is the one that jumps out. Diamond Manny isn't that good. How about, what do you guys think about taking off this Trevor Story, who's done awful for me, and putting in the PT plus Barry Larkin? Which card is trash? The Barry Larkin? Or I got the tournament edition Mel Ott. Larkin's better than Story? That works? Okay, let's do that. Larkin, are you on here somewhere? Larkin. Barry Larkin. All right, well, I'll go and do that later. Don't want to take the time in looking for the two cards to take off, but Larkin for Story. So one more for you, Hawk Moon here. Let's go back and spin the wheel again, and then we'll pick another assistant. Well, we already did that. We only do one of each per show, so we're going to skip that one. Oh, bam. Well, for you, Hawk Moon, you didn't have a lot of decisions to make because the wheel made a couple of them for you. But you get to kind of watch as we open up a perfect pack here. So here we go. We have to use a card from this pack, and it's hidden there between my diamond and my silver. There it is. Oh, just missed it. That's one thing I need to suggest to Nicolino is a little drop-down menu when you have all these packs to pick specific ones. Go. All right, let's do this, guys. Come on. Come on. If I can't get a historical, let's go for one of those Freddie Freeman or the good perfect lives that are going for a crazy Altuve. Yes. Thank you, Wade Beers. Let's get the Altuve. Okay. Well, I don't think, Hawk Moon, you're going to pick one of the other 5 players on the screen. So this is a must play, at least for this week. We are adding to the lineup. Mays would have been good, but I think we did good, chat. I think we did good. I think that card is going to play, and I think it's going to, if I do need to sell it at some point. Now, when I look at the wheel, I don't want to break my own rules, but the wheel says open a perfect pack. It does not say play the card in a perfect pack. It says open a perfect pack. We have opened a perfect pack. What we can do is bend the rule a little bit. We can sell a card from the perfect pack as long as we buy a player with that investment. So I could take the 175,000 and buy someone, and I have to put that player on the team. So what do you guys think? Play Billy Hamilton or sell him and use that 160 some thousand to buy someone on the card shop? Hamilton's pretty good. See, if we go to the card shop and we look at for players that I would use that money on, maximum price of 164,000. These are what we're looking at in terms of cards to use. Only cards I can afford for that. So the question is a Monty Ward, is a elite Juan Soto, is a Hilton Smith, is a Satchel Paige, interesting decision. Bert Bly 11. If we look at other immortals, there are no immortals I could buy for 164,000. It would have to be a diamond one, so I think Hamilton's probably better. If we look at the elite, Juan Soto and Devin Williams. All right, what are you guys thinking here? No Ben Sheets. I'm going to go with, Warbot. It said open a perfect pack, and then I either play a card from the perfect pack or I can sell it and use that money from that card that I sold. I think we're just going to use them. Hawk Moon. Let's see. Let's take a look at him here. Where is he? Billy Hamilton. So he only plays center field. He can learn left or right, which, I don't mind training him. I'm only in silver. So he plays center field. And right now I've got the gold Tris Speaker, James Wood, Jose Bautista, and Nelson Cruz, and Babe Ruth. So right now my center fielder is James Wood. The new Corbin Carroll is better. I don't know if I can afford that new Corbin Carroll. Oh, no, I could. Yeah. So is this card better than the Billy Hamilton? Or is that money, do we go and finish the mission? GT Sundown, you're the math guy here. I need 17 more cards. That Marte card is the one that is the big 50, 60. Yeah. Well, think about it, guys. We're on a break here, and I don't want to make a decision without your input. And Hawk Moon, you get the final say here because you're up on the board here. Back in 2 minutes, think about whether we sell Hamilton and finish the mission for Carol, or if we just buy Carol outright. We'll decide in 2 minutes' time, and then I'm going to draw one more person to help me out. All right, we're back. So Hawk Moon, ultimately your final decision. I'm seeing, I think the majority of people saying keep Hamilton, use Hamilton this week, and you know, at a future time, a future Monday, we might be able to swap him out. So are you on board with that then, Hawk Moon, just keeping Hamilton, putting Hamilton in probably for the 80 gold Tris Speaker? But it is your call. Like I said, this is not just my team. You get the decision. You are the manager of that right now. What are you thinking, Hawk Moon? Maybe I missed it a little bit earlier here. Let me just take a look through chat. Yeah, I can sell. I mean, that may come up for someone else in a different week to sell Hamilton. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And as Chess Safari says, Hamilton is an improvement. And again, I think we take off. We'll just get your final opinion here. But I think we take off this Tris Speaker, right? Tris Speaker for Hamilton. I think we keep James Wood. Okay. Yep. Keep Hamilton. Can always sell him later. I think what people were saying that Hamilton's price probably won't get down too much, whereas the Carroll price will go down over time. I think that's especially with that Marte card being 50,000. Like otherwise, if he was reasonably priced, I could probably finish that mission for 25,000, and then Carroll's a no-brainer. Sell Williams or Hamilton and get Carroll. But We don't need to do that. Okay, let's go and find out our second winner here, second assistant. Thank you, Hawk Moon. I will send your name along for those 5 packs. Let's find out who number 2 is. Barry Basher. Mr. Basher, are you still in the chat? So we added a pitcher, a San Francisco pitcher. We added Hamilton. We added Barry Larkin. So far, 3 upgrades. Definitely we've gone up rather than down. Barry Basher is here. Okay, good. So we got 2 more changes, Barry. Here's change number 1. Well, we've already done both of those, so we're going to have to respin. All right, we get some more cards in the system. Barry, watch these carefully. You have to pick one of these 10 cards that are 10 packs. One of these cards from these 10 packs that we're going to open up. And EVC will be definitely be done by the top of the hour. So plan for me rating into you at 4 p.m. Eastern, if that works. Okay, let's open up 10 packs. Come on, we already hit the jackpot at once. For once, thank you to Hawk Moon for giving some pack luck there. Here we go. Oh, the worst we're going to get is a gold George Bell. So good. Worst case scenario is we get George Bell. Pack number 2. Not going to write any names. I'm only going to put down a name here if I think it's better than George Bell, because I don't think you'd choose any of those. Pack number 3. Pack 4. Pack 5, nothing really there. Ouch. Pack 6. Barry, I think it's going to be an easy choice. Pack 7. Pack number 8. Looking like your packs. Oh, we have a little intrigue, Barry. Now we get to make a decision. Do we use a live diamond or do we use George Bell? Here we go. This is pack 8, I believe, right? Pack 8 is Julio. Currently selling for over 5,000. Pack 9. Yeah, Marte would have been nice. And one more. All right, Barry, do we go with the live Rodriguez or the historical George Bell? Got to play one of those 2 cards. The other one was the bronze Larry Cheney, which again, a pitcher you can hide okay. You can put him in a limited role. So I don't mind that move as well if we bring in that Larry Cheney card. Because in our outfield, Rodriguez and Bell, I don't think are going to, like, we're already taking out Tris Speaker. So we would have to take out Cruz, Bautista, James Wood. And I don't think George Bell is an upgrade over any of those. And definitely the live card isn't an upgrade. So that Cheney card, we could take out, a Hendricks. We could take out a Boom Boom Beck. We could take out Logan Webb. You got to get in the lineup, buddy. For now, anyway. Kenny, I can hide. I can put him long relief, avoid high leverage. And he's a decent bronze guy. Like I've used him in my bronze tournaments before. Are we allowed to vote on opening all the standard and silver packs offline? There are in some of the wheel choices there are open gold, there are open silver, there are open spotlight. So it's just a matter of what the wheel is going to determine for us. Today we got the open 10 standard packs. Who are my outfielders? Okay, Nelson Cruz, the tournament Jose Bautista, James Wood, and Babe Ruth. So George Bell is not an upgrade. This is George Bell. And this is Rodriguez. So I think if you're going one of those two, it would be George Bell. So in terms of who I'm playing right now, Bautista is kind of the odd guy out right now. Bautista's only played one game this season. Right now I've got James Wood, Babe Ruth, and Nelson Cruz. So it would be probably Bell for Bautista. Well, we can do that. Let's see if allows me to compare players here. Bell for Bautista. So there you go. There's Joey Bats and there's George Bell. Neither of them is going to get a lot of playing time. Obviously, Bell is a downgrade. Yeah, definitely a whammy there. I mean, unless you hit it lucky, if that diamond would have been historical. Yeah, they're almost identical except for the eye. Look at that eye. And that's a big thing with Charles is all that eye. Kava, charge your phone, plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Remember those commercials, Kava? What was that commercial for? Where it would just have that jingle. Plug it in, plug it in. Us crazy Canadians. Is Bautista needed at third base at all? Let's look at the depth charts. He is my backup third baseman, but I also have Sam Bankhead. And Vlad Guerrero Jr. can play third. Your plugins are in? Okay, good. Plug them in, EVC. Plug them in, plug them in. Some sort of air freshener, right, Tessuigi, like Glade or something like that. All right, Barry, what are you thinking here? It's either Cheney for one of these lower level pitchers, or it's Bell for Bautista. Do the pitcher. And some guy with no stuff. So Boom Boom Beck. Okay. Boom Boom Beck, who has not had a good career here on this team. He's had an over 5 ERA the last 2 seasons. You are coming out for Larry Cheney. Okay. I think I prefer that move because I'd rather keep Jose over George Bell. Well, we've got one more for you. I can't complain over getting a Immortal Perfect with my perfect pack. So it was a good time to open that pack. Pretty scary, though, that some live cards are worth most of that. Barry, your last one is, well, we do move up a little bit. We are now opening 4 gold regular. Four gold regular. Okay, keep your eye peeled. Pack number 1. Scott Kazmir. Let's take a look at him. 115 stuff. Wow. What's he selling for? Not that much. Pack number 2. A Cub, who we're not probably going to use, so we will ignore that one. Pack number 3. I guess the best card there is Adam Everett. Got pretty good defense. That could be a choice. Adam Everett. Selling for 1,000 points. And pack number 4. Oops. That was an oopsie. I just click next one, not the gold pack. That was a standard pack. I know I need, look at that. That's the second one I've done, and I've got gold in each one. Oh, I can't use these guys. These are like bonus cards. Okay. Thank you, EVC, for pointing that out. So I've only actually opened one gold pack, even though I've got gold cards in every pack. I was on a roll. Okay, gold pack official number 2 is Scott Strickland. So we got Kazmir, we've got Strickland, we got this Ryba card. EVC, always the den father, always like lap. You made that mistake. Pack number 3. Just enjoy your emote, EVC, and your Gavin Lux. Could you imagine if that standard pack had like I don't know, like a Willie Mays? Be like, no. Okay, last gold pack. Well, Barry, you're going to have a few more choices here. It's been a long time since I've opened up a pack with all that color. Chess, don't you be jinxing it, Chess. And look at this. Look at this synchronicity. I got that player we just took off the team, AJ Smith. Okay. AJ Smith might be my best option. You're right, Warbot. Next up, we got a Freddie McGriff. We got an AJ Smith. So chess, they're not all live. Number 2, Brian Reynolds. And number 3, are we hoping for a Christian Walker? Nope, an AJ Minter. So those aren't worth too much. Okay, so here are your choices, Barry Basher. We've got Fred McGriff. We have AJ Smith Shoiver. We've got Scott Kazmir. And we've got Strickland. So let's do a quick poll so that chat can help you out here. Okay. Let's do a poll. Card. Do I go with Strickland, Kazmir, AJ Silver, or McGriff? We'll only put it up for a minute to save some time here. Poll is up. Chat, help Barry out. Which one of those 4 cards do you think is the best choice to use? Right now, Crime Dog with the lead. Oh, we've got AJ. AJ is in the lead now. Crime Dog and AJ neck and neck. Oh, AJ takes the lead again. No votes for Casimir, no votes for Strickland. 5-3 for AJ, a player we took out and might be putting him back in on the same day. Kind of like my PBE experience, get drafted and traded on the same day. All right, poll results are in. Chat has recommended AJ for you. You want to go with that, Barry? Putting AJ back in and taking out maybe Brian Wilson, Billy Wagner, Derek Lowe with 46 stuff. I've got a lot of first base options right now. I've got Johnny Mize, Rafael Palmeiro, Vlad Guerrero Jr. So yeah, I've got three guys I can play at first. But I mean, we could put in Fred McGriff. I can find a spot for him, but I think he's only first baseman. I think it was an 82, Fred McGriff. Probably not going to show up here. Nope. There's Freddie, can only play first base or DH, which would mean I'd have to sit either Johnny Mize, Vlad Guerrero Jr., or Palmeiro. So not Strickland. Okay, so we've eliminated Strickland. So AJ, McGriff, and Casimir. Smith definitely has the better pitcher BABIP. Smith is, I think, better than Casimir. Again, here's the pitching staff here. Lowest stuff would be Derek Lowe, Mike Queller, Kyle Hendricks. So probably can take out lower Hendricks if we have to put in AJ or Casimir. So started off really well, getting those good cards at the beginning, and then it kind of tailed off. Didn't really have a lot of good choices. Okay, Barry, final decision, and then we have to close off the show. Okay, Strickland in. So you want Strickland in, and then take out one of those other players. I'll probably take out Kyle Hendricks. Again, hasn't pitched very well. Whoever's pitching the worst, let's look at Lowe. Yeah, we'll probably take out Kyle Hendricks. Okay, I will make all those changes and hope that we improve in silver. So thank you, Hawk Moon. Thank you, Barry Basher, for your help this week. Again, guys, don't forget tomorrow, a special one-off episode similar to Babe in the Matrix. We'll have the Google form that you guys can fill out. And again, get in the laptop daily. Come on, we're tracking all this now. Right now, we've got the Dodgers, Hoosman, leading overall in the tournament. Hoosman is leading the tournament with 8 points based on his 2 victories by the Dodgers. We've got the Mount Pleasant Mounties and Rojo Vancouver in second place. Team Oklahoma, the Pittons, the Yankees are currently in third. And I have 1 point for my 4th place finish, and I won't get any more points today. Let's go take a very quick look at the bounty. See if I award those packs. And then don't go anywhere. We're going to go over to EVC. Oh, so remember that at the end of December on January 1st, I'll do the tally. Thanks again to D. Dempsey for making up this easy to use form for me. And on January 1st, whoever is at the top of the leaderboard will get 20 standard packs. And then from everyone else that has placed at least once, your name will go on the wheel. We'll draw one winner, and that person will get 5. So even if you make the final 4 once, you have a chance at 5 packs at the end of it. So just my way of giving back to you guys and thanking you for being part of this Laptop Hound lower level leisure tournament every day, firing off at 11:30 a.m. Well, the bounty is done. I am done. I made it to the second round. However, I came up against the Blue Hornets run by Firenor, and Firenor was able to take it in 3 games, winning 15-5. So I'm glad that I lost big time. But Firenor, you beat me 15-4, and then you beat me 15-5. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. 30 runs? Was it really necessary for Walt Wilmot to be so hard on my team, hitting 607? Congratulations, Firenor. You win today's bounty. The rest of you guys are playing for the in-game packs. Mile High Mayhem against the Ball Players. Asheville Boomsticks against the Blue Hornets. Winner will get 3 packs. Second place, 1 pack from within the game. All right, lots of packs given out, but that is it for me. Again, tune in tomorrow at the regular time. Thanks so much to Nicolino for popping in for an interview this morning. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, give what you can, take what you need. It is a great day for baseball. Go have fun with OOTP. Go enter some tournaments, win some packs. We're going over to EVC in just 2 minutes. Thanks for the follows today. Thanks for those subscribers for re-upping their subs. You guys have a wonderful day. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. Come on, guys. Have a good time. Smile, laugh, have a beverage of choice. The sun can't shine every day. See you next episode.
Good friend of mine told me something the other day. I'd like to pass it on to you. I believe what he said to be true. He said we're here for a good time, not a long time. So have a good time. The sun can't shine every day, and the sun is shining in this rainy city, and the sun is shining